Yeah.
So
All right.
here again with Lzwvmmh our alien vlog, or
That's me right there.
alien
Yeah.
teachings, and these previous names that we have, and you know, because I found his channel, I was able to find out that Mr. Rogers actually had an episode where he flicked people off. So without
Further ado.
So as sort of a bounce off of the whole New Age movement, we're going to talk about a particular group, and so what do you let's start off with some basic symbolic little thing here. And so what do you think? And I give her the special name Grilm Zacht Devat Ov Lux Fog Merks Lov Merv, and which I'm not sure if she saw it, but it was in the last Zoom meeting, I think, that I was allowed in for that group. But the or one of them, but she was.
I'm just gonna put my phone on the charger. 1 sec. Oh, I'm always scared that the battery will end if I don't put in the charger. So.
Oh yeah, that's. Yeah. I've done shows with people before, but at least, well, you're operating black screens, so it'd be better if you used a meme than a black screen. But
oh, is the fucking phone charging now? Just I didn't hear any charge blip.
So what do you think this little graphic with the eye?
I think it's fucking cool, man. I don't know what it is, but it sure looks cool as shit. Unicole Unicron. Tell me about that shit.
Well, okay, she had some issues, and after she thought of starting something called Uniclub, and thought, oh, forget it. Why don't I just call it Unicult?
Oh, cool.
So she started this thing, and this is their symbol. Unicorns are real. Okay. Unicorns.
Yeah. So it is about unicorns.
Not really. Not
okay.
really. It's something. It's something listed, just like aliens and stuff are listed, but it doesn't.
Yeah. It looks very New Age to me, by the way.
Quite. Well, that's why I think it's a good speaking topic.
Good topic, yeah.
We don't have to believe all the things they say, but they talk about all sorts of things more than most. Very few organized religion, very few even churches are going to go into the
okay.
they go into. So
all right.
That's but so in the Bible talks about unicorns, but unicorns, like,
it does.
You read in the Psalms, like, thank you God for saving me from the lions and the unicorns.
Didn't Muhammad ride on a unicorn back to heaven?
No, that's something.
Or was that a horse?
It wasn't a horse either. There's spiritual things. People say it was the size of a horse. That's the thing.
Okay.
It says, the size of a horse. But
all right.
In India,
maybe it was a unicorn.
in India and Persia and the New World, there was the prophet figures of Muhammad, and before, so many
before that
were taken on some sort of mystical beast whose name usually translated to something like a breath. Garuda means breath, Baruch means breath, various other things mean breath or something along that lines. And the prophets were taken on their mystic journeys on some sort of strange beast thing. And so that was, so it's not quite the unicorn story is something different. But in the Psalms, it says, well, why is this dude so scared of unicorns? It's and then it turns out, no, unicorns are like this are like spirits. So they're the fire beings of mythology.
You know what else they remind me of? You know, if you look at a UFO, they have one horn on, and do they not?
Some of them have like a point going
That's
up.
a tip for you there.
And I've went into you may not know this, but I used to do cave trips. We'd go in there and we'd chant. We'd do some sort of structure-based ritual. Like the last show, I showed you a graphic of. I use that same basic sort of format. As here's a cube and here's pillars and it really works when you set that.
I'm hearing someone in the background. You got to keep my voice down. So you can continue.
You set that stuff up in an area and it can really work for you. But so unicorns are a type of. So there's 3 types of created beings in most mythologies. You narrow it down to the light beings, the fire beings, and the clay beings. Now, the clay beings, the humans, and among those clay beings, the physically incarnated beings are called clay beings. And the fireborn, like, for example, in the mythology, this is like the point of this is why I say the Yazidi are Satan, this alone will tell you that they're Satanists, is because the same type of creature that Satan is, humans become the Nexion of the fire beings. And that's what the Order of 9 Angles talks about. That's what a lot of these newer Satanist groups talk about. So it's that's an ancient culture, but unicorns are like a spiritual being. So the story was outside of the Bible. It says that David was out there tending the sheep, and this pair of giant spirits appeared, and basically that's it. They're not these cute horse things, but it's delineated into that. But so that this represents their lineup, and this is it can tell you where things can kind of get weird in here.
Tell us about it.
So we have the red, which might be better as pink. Is sort of, she doesn't want to. Unicole Unicron does not want to identify as a female, even though honestly, especially if you see her magic world around us video where she runs around the forest naked or something. It's even as a 33-year-old woman, she's more attractive than women were.
Well,
so
I'm 33 years old too.
Why not be grateful for that, and so just trying to deny that you're a woman? And twice a month once a month you post on at least once a month you post on Facebook that you were horny and masturbated. Another time you post and talk about your menstruating. It's like, you're not a woman, but you ovulate and menstruate. And you want to tell the whole world about it.
What? Sounds like me. Oh shit, we have a lot in common, me and her. Even the age.
So the feminist technology, I guess, was the thing, but feminists, they want to be in charge. It's not that they necessarily have it's going to make things better for women. It's just they want to be.
They want to be in charge.
They want to be in charge. They don't. It's like okay. So using the
part
technology,
of their personality, I guess. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
And then you got in the orange you have spiritual science. This is where a lot of New Age gets a bit off, because they're pseudoscience. They want to be. They claim they're up to date. They want to.
They're not up to date. No.
Involved in stuff. They're saying the same old. Planets in retrograde, like there's really such a thing. It looks that way from here, but the planets rotate in the same direction, whether or not it looks like from Earth that they're continuing to head one direction or another.
Wow.
Anyway, spiritual science, I kind of can get into that idea, but you got to be real about that rather than your thing. And yellow's the color for youth there. And
all right.
And,
are you still on, by the way?
Green's the color of the idea of being self-sufficient. That's can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, because you want to grow your vegetables, and that's green.
So taking care of the earth and all that's very important. Just like they're all up into these hypocritical conferences, but honestly, reducing pollution since 2017 is far more important than taking part in some conference and saying, we'll set forth policies that in 15 years, all these things will be in line. It's like, let's fix these things now or not do, or actually just do what we're going to do rather than focus on conferences where we're going to say how much better we are than everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
that's most important.
So then you know, the levels of there's supposed to be 7 levels of Unicult, and they that's what the horn represents there. The eye represents the media. So there's a spiral. There's a spiral in some of the graphics.
Oh, all right.
And
cool.
Supposedly, once you join, you're a member forever, and once you attain a rank, you're a member forever. But
what?
I was fine interacting and taking part in stuff. It wasn't like they were charging hundreds of dollars, like $11, and you get it. You be a member of a server and communicate, and maybe it wasn't too bad.
Oh wow, really?
And they send you a little membership packet. It's a cute thing, but
And you got these items with you once you became member?
The book I bought separate.
Okay. But the rest of the stuff you got. I presume you got when you became a member, right?
Well, they send you a paper. They send you a form, and you send the form back, and you can and the membership packets. Like I've done a video with the thing. I can switch the graphic, but it's not like you're paying a tithing. Although she does try to get people to donate more, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
It's you know,
you got New Agers.
It's not what
that are competing with her. I guess. It's hypocritical New Agers. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I mean, I did buy the horn. I did buy the horn there.
Oh, you did.
So that was a separate purchase. So was the book.
Okay. How much did it cost?
And I bought some patches, but $11. They give you a couple stickers. They give you this thing, and then they send you back a thing that says, "Here's how to introduce yourself as a member." And there's a membership packet that you may pay for, but it's
okay.
It's not too much.
All right.
but anyways, I'm not allowed on their server anymore, so that does it for that.
Oh, what happened? Or why aren't you allowed on the server?
People and their psychic premonitions, they thought it's like I wasn't even leaving my home some of these nights. These people think just because you feel people want to feel offended, people want to feel persecuted, and they're not. And a lot of people in that group do that. And so you're automatically responsible if they get a bad feeling. Like someone's got to be responsible. If you're the different guy, you're the different guy. That's like,
yeah, okay.
So I mean, I was nice. I didn't insult. I just didn't want people accusing me of stuff.
It's so funny that you would be part of something like this.
Well, I've involved
but
myself.
You're curious. I like that with you.
Different groups. It's not that I'm like, this person's like, this is phrase here. It's like has the answers. It's like how. There's another group that I've researched a lot more thoroughly. And this group here, this group here, this
that group, looks fucking complex.
Yeah, I translated thing. Apparently, people that have been a member for 30 years don't even understand it as well as I did. It sounded like, but
really? Then tell us about it.
Well, basically, they're a spin-off of Scientology and Lzwvmmh, and they throw.
I like that combination very much.
They throw in some. Eckankar throws in some references to other religions that the guys.
Wow, this looks like the most interesting cult so far, I must say.
But they also got a rainbow, and it's organized sort of weird. Because green. This all these things, your phone, you notice your phone does this autocorrect. It changes the color on you. You get something, you get a good picture, and it's like, oh, the color didn't even show up because it thinks that this looks abnormal. Of course, I want to take a picture of the sky when it's, I want to see the moon when it's orange, when it's actually orange, you know.
Yeah.
I want that picture when it's orange. Don't autocorrect me to what it looks like most of the year.
Okay.
But, you know,
Yeah.
we'll go into more of the other thing. But,
Mm.
yeah, that's sort of one of the Ascended Masters sort of.
Okay, I could.
Sure.
If they got a rainbow, it's probably about Ascended Masters and bullshit.
Yeah, it's comparative religions. There's just so many of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess a good lie must have, you know, a good lie must have, you know, the more differences there are, the more confusion there will be. So.
Oh, and that was my point. They
Yeah,
have
and that was
answers.
your point, right?
you have spiritual practices.
Now I got you.
You have subjects you can look into, and you figure out what you consider to be the answers, and then the group takes the credit. Unicult does the same thing. Is they talk about all sorts of issues, and we can talk about aliens and crystals and all sorts of stuff. And then Unicult, if we were a Unicult member, we would credit Unicult for it. If we consider, if we start accepting ourselves as not being a male or a female or something, Unicult will credit us, credit it for that sort of thing. I'm definitely the physical reality of who we are, but I understand where you're coming from and where she's coming from, saying I'm something a little bit more than a human. I'm like
alien.
I'm here. Yeah. I'm like an alien, and I'm here living a human role. And honestly, that's what most religion teaches. It teaches that our body is it's a vehicle. Our consciousness even is a vehicle. We're going to use that, and you know, we got a purpose in life. Our purpose definitely involves accepting, but unlike, say, this group where belief makes real, and perhaps you got to direct that toward whatever you decide is real is somehow automatically going to be real, and that's not true. That's called schizophrenia. But
it's called being a new ager.
But so you got to use your mind, you got to use your body to the fullest, which is why, like, for example, you know, we mentioned Islam here doesn't I mean, it doesn't say that it says put on the natural man. You were created right the first time. Everything that's a part of you is what you were, you know, and it doesn't criticize you for merely having a feeling or a thought or desire or something. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's just
you mentioned that.
That
was what the topic would be about, right? So we're keeping to the topic very well here, I guess.
But so being I mean, you may not agree with certain things that are believed or done, but or not done or whatever. But certainly that's the thing, and it's like Christianity. I was really nailed down on this thing. I walked. More than once I've had incidences like this. You know, there's street preachers out there, and these street preachers, some of them will be like, they'll get you are you a good person, and have you done this, and and if you haven't done it, have you thought about it? And so it's like, have you ever lusted? It's like, first of all, if they knew they're free, the Bible says,
a classic.
The Bible says don't have any evil plans or stuff. But have you ever lusted after a woman? And I'm like, I remember I went at this Peace and Justice Fair, and there was this guy just outside the Peace and Justice Fair area, in the free speech area, where some of the better people and some of the worst people are there all at once. If you get it on the right day, the free speech area. This guy was like, have you ever lusted after a woman? I'm like,
yeah, I think I know who you mean. Isn't that the one from...
since I entered the park or something like? I've given answers like that before, and it's like, you've only walked like 100 feet. It's like, well, I'm picky, sir. You know, there were a lot of people in the park, and that's all I noticed is 7 women I found attractive. But you know, but if you're not honest about it, it's like these people that you can't desire a woman until you're married. It's like, how in the world are you supposed to pick a woman to be married to? And
that sounds like great comfort. Was it Ray Comfort, perhaps?
They had Ray Comfort books, yes. But there's different. Ray
Oh, you knew
Comfort,
about it.
Ray Comfort, and what? Kirk Cameron, is that other guy that
Ray
guy worked with?
Comfort.
Some of the most weird, intolerant sort of people come from that guy in particular. There's other people that say
definitely.
stuff.
Thank you.
And one of the other ones is, as I said, the fanatic thing is that it's like people want to be called something. They just want, it's like, oh, what the Bible. It's like if you know what the Bible has Jesus teach ethically or something like this, you're not. They're like, oh, well, that's not the important thing. You believe he's died on the cross and was resurrected.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, but thinking the guy had some good examples in life. No, it's not too important. It's like. The important thing is you just make sure.
Whatever I say is important. What if it's my agenda?
Oh, that thing too, and that's the thing too. It's like, okay, people can have different beliefs, and that's what I like to do on my channel. Is like, okay, I don't think that I'm going to.
You're doing a good job on that one.
I don't think I'm going to have to fully agree with anybody.
No, I've noticed that with you.
And that's fine. I don't have to like. I speak English. I speak bits of other languages, but I don't feel like it's like if somebody doesn't want to take on a mystic name, there they don't have to have one either on.
You have a mystical name, that's for sure. Jafar.
Oh well, that's it too. Oh yeah. By the way, this is not going to be released then. This one is. Next Tuesday for the last program in this program, October 13th, because this is
cool.
That October 13th is the 11th anniversary of when she tried to kill herself, and basically her father found her and they took her to a hospital.
Wow, really?
A lot of people.
That's a timely passage.
She didn't have gender dysphoria at this point, but a lot of people they try to they don't have meaning in life, especially if they have a fantasy life, and they're. Things go off in a direction that turns south, can turn really south, and a lot of these people go and kill themselves. It's like, people have their desires, but in America and in other parts of the world, transgenders are like sexually abused people in prisons don't commit suicide at the rate that transgenders do, and why is it that bad? It's because they want this physical reality, and even if they can afford the surgery.
Have you seen my video on transgenderism, like about feminism? There, I think I touched upon these subjects there in that video pretty well, about low self-esteem being one of the greatest things that makes somebody a transgender or a feminist. You should check it out if you want to check it out someday.
I probably have
or maybe you've already seen it.
If the channel was, sometimes your videos are open to comments, sometimes they're not. If it was,
they're actually open to comment now. I've opened it. Every video is now open to comment. It was because I picked for children, and then they removed the comment. So my bad.
I probably said a word, and they found out you said a word. And that's the funny thing too. You look at this censorship. It's like some of the people running the censorship. It's like, doesn't the Bible mention penises and ejaculation and dismemberments and beheadings and all this other stuff? But
thank you.
And it has it has erotic descriptions of a couple getting it on in various ways that aren't. But. If anybody else talks about anything sexual or violent or something like that, or uses the wrong word, oh no, somebody said a 4-letter word. No. I mean, it's not usually necessary to say those words, but
oh gosh,
so many things. But okay, might as well. The rest of this, okay.
Get to the
so light blue as part of their rainbow here. On the other side of the unicorn horn is basically having businesses connected to your spiritual to the spiritual life, and that's our legal codes or whatever. But that's honestly what everybody should do, is because contrary to like people like Augustine and stuff like this. All of life can be spiritual. You don't have to be some professional priest,
Exactly.
or some monk begging and living in a cave.
Like Osho said, he said, meditation is to be able to be peaceful in the marketplace, right? It's not something you do in a cave in Himalaya. If you can't meditate in the marketplace, it's not meditation, right?
That's
sort of like what you're talking about.
I don't know if I have Confucian mean, but the Confucianism and Islam and most paths, even if you have your ritual for half an hour or an hour or 2 minutes, every couple hours or something like that, like the Muslims or Tibetan Buddhist, most of them only have. The Tibetan Buddhists are like the Muslims, usually just have a couple minutes and then they get back to work. That's what the rituals are for most people. There's long rituals, don't get me wrong, but for both groups, it's usually just meditate for a few minutes and then go back to your work for a few hours. So take a bathroom break and then you meditate and go back to work. That's it. Their principle, Confucianism puts in terms that are probably clear for the most people. You're establishing a character. You're bringing up principles that you're going to take outside that ritual. If you've done the ritual right, you're going to live those principles.
What was it called again, by the way? Confucianism? Or
Confucianism, yeah.
What's that?
Confucius was a great Chinese scholar that they basically turned his teachings into a separate religion. But the just like
I'm aware of
Buddhism
that
and so
much.
many things, Confucianism isn't technically the same path as his, but it's part of it. It's about living a good character. And just like we talked about Lovecraft designed. H.P. Lovecraft designed his stories. He designed his stories to and his poetry to have an effect. So he worked on setting the mood, building things up, certain feelings and stuff. He worked on that stuff. That's part of why he's been such an influential thinker. It's not that just some lonely guy. Well, I mean, not he did have a woman here and there, but just some weird guy writing stories, trying to barely.
Weird guy, that's for sure.
There's a lot more to the guy than that. Just like as in seen in the quote that he didn't really find much of a purpose in life, and then he went back to this stuff.
Have you read much of his literature outside of the Necronomicon, or?
Well, he didn't really write the Necronomicon, but I've read different versions of the Necronomicon. But as you see on my channel, I have looked. I've looked quite detailed into Lovecraft. I'm releasing from now until the Dark Quarter. I'm releasing they're different lengths. Some of them are half an hour. Some of them are a minute. And most of them are in between. 33 minutes. So anywhere from a minute to 33 minutes. So I'm releasing 5 a day until like November 7th. So
you understand why I'm jealous of you, man. You're living exactly the kind of life I want to live more of. Being able to just sit in my own private library. I'm homeless right now, and I'm a little jealous of your private library there, being able to just sit down in quiet and peace, and you have food in the fridge, and you have your library. You can read everything that I want to learn more about, like Lovecraft and Cthulhu and these things. These are definitely things that are on my agenda of things I want to know more about. That's for sure. So I'm happy we're doing this video.
So further on, we have the darker blue is data. So using the information for the spiritual purposes, and then you have the group as itself, which is the part that Okay. The text that we're going to have questions from. This is sort of, I guess unicultism is what we're talking about. Or
unicultism, okay.
All these different unit things, and Just like
Yeah.
Ekankar, they use odd
Yeah, that's an
capitalization,
interesting character.
and she throws into different using letters. Like she uses 3.
Was that the one who made the Hugh mantra, like Hugh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ekankar mainly they got the hue, but they had the one guy was like number 3 in Scientology, number 2, like
What?
right under Kirpal.
Was he number 3 in Scientology?
Paul Twitchell founded Ekankar, and after an episode of the Twilight Zone, was it the Twilight Zone that had an episode Behold Ek? Was that the name of the series?
I don't know.
So there was an episode called Behold Ek, and he used that spelling. 2 years later, to found his cult. But he branched at the time. He was still hoping. Okay, but Kirpal Singh, the Ramaswamy leader, did not want him to use his information. I mean, it didn't give him the level of authority that he wanted. And Scientology, he was declared clear. It usually costs nowadays like an average of $250,000. Scientologists make more money than most people, but they also
actually bought. Yeah.
They also spend so much on their organization. $250,000 to get clear. That's a goal. That's a goal in life. So your goal is to give an average of $250,000 to the organization in your life. So you got
all right.
Earning enough money to both have a house and do that is a house and family, and do that is most people couldn't do that. So that's
okay.
So they do accomplish something, but and earlier in the organization it meant more of something, because the leader could just like in Unicult, if they were a bit more tolerant or something, the fact that they're small enough that the leader actually has some knowledge of who you are. But anyways,
so
the guy branched off of those 2 groups partially because he was a pulp fiction writer, and just like L. Ron Hubbard decided that you can make more money in religion, and was writing about religion, but decided to do his own thing, and it caught on, and it's one of the most successful New Age religions that ever were.
Yeah, I actually bought and read the book he wrote, L. Hubbard, and I found Scientology was, I would say, the most interesting fucking religion in the world, or cult. That would be Scientology.
Scientology is the richest group. They don't have Ekankar has more members than Scientology, but
is that really the richest?
Scientology is the richest New Age religion.
The most funded, heavily funded as well by the government or something like that.
Well, no. Some governments don't accept them as a religion. They're failed. Scientology is.
Would you say they're a threat to the government in some way? Because I feel like they do know something the government does not want us to know.
Well, they're against the. Even though their leader, even though L. Ron Hubbard, he was trying to get his veterans benefits to get psychological treatment. So he was kind of against his own advice in that respect. But the threat to the drugging,
that's
and the cultural programming, that is they could consider the Scientology a cultural threat in that respect. Scientology has gone too far with their own programming, but and certain groups that have Charles Manson. He was a Scientologist.
He was a Scientologist?
He did his own thing, but he branched off of Scientology himself. He used Scientology techniques and
what?
Scientology.
That's so cool.
With hippie techniques and
shit.
But, like a lot of people. Okay. Let's do the other 2. Okay, uniform. So the last one is basically, spiritual ways of dressing or style or something. So let's break with that for a second. But Charles Manson could have been stopped. Like a lot of people could have been stopped even before they started killing and stuff, because Charles Manson, they should have locked him up for life or executed him or something when he was a rapist. When they knew that he raped a guy, and they caught the guards caught him raping somebody, and they're like, the guy's going to be blinded or something. We got
what?
He held.
What the fuck?
Charles Manson held someone hostage and raped him in prison.
He did?
And,
Oh shit.
and then they're like, of course, they were
Yeah.
like, release the sexual predator in the community. They don't really say this, but they might as well.
Yeah.
And
What the?
so Charles Manson then went off and I'm sure raped more and led the killing that he did.
Yeah, I
based
guess
on
he did.
using Scientology techniques mixed with hippie programming techniques.
Oh
People like
fuck.
who's that guy? Timothy Leary?
I don't like Manson at all, just so you know.
Yeah.
He's like the worst.
That this was not a problem with this group, but this woman
Yeah.
and her husband, they do not tolerate criticism of Charles Manson.
What? They don't?
If you get into the
Shit.
Unicole discourse and you say anything critical of Charles Manson, you get kicked out.
What? That's
also
talk about hippie fucking bullshit, new age bullshit right there.
Also, I think you're not allowed to criticize Heaven's Gate. You can be interested in Heaven's Gate and talk about like an interesting thing, but if you criticize Heaven's Gate,
I can tell you this much. If any new age cult out there, I can tell to the audience, if any new age cult out there does not allow criticism of Charles Manson, we can both agree that you should fucking leave, okay?
Yeah, you gotta get away from that. And you gotta get away with like, okay, if I wasn't kicked out, it's not like I can't expose people to a group that's going to accuse me of attacking people and stuff like this. You just can't do that. And honestly, one of the things that was said is like, you seem like the nice guy that basically you can rephrase this into, you seem like the kind of nice guy that that women will do things for that they might not otherwise do. It's like, that's not a rapist. That's called being somebody who people want to be in a relationship
what the
with.
Fuck?
But in my country, if a man says he was raped, he probably was. You don't need to question too much. But women have been taught that if a guy acts more than once, if he buys him a drink, if he was more than a couple years older, or even a couple years older, all sorts of things. So, like for example,
I think I'm starting to see where feminism comes from right now. It's probably new age, inspired this shit as well. This whole transgender, when a woman needs to be a man and a man needs to be a woman.
I say everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and we need to bring that out. If a lot of these mental illnesses, okay, sometimes they can be cured, sometimes they can't. But honestly, all of them there's benefits these people have. Glenn Beck, I don't agree with a lot of Glenn Beck, but the guy's schizophrenic, but honestly, he says some stuff that's right and brilliant, at least a couple times a year. We don't need to have him on TV the rest of the time. We should really edit it down those couple times a year and give him a couple specials. But I mean, he can still afford a big old house with a couple specials on Fox or something. Don't give him his own Blaze net. He doesn't need Blaze Network and all this other stuff to listen to him all the time. Let him write a book and let him talk and edit down his talking to the couple shows here that he has something good to say. But he criticized the Federal Reserve, and you do not criticize the Federal Reserve.
You do not. That's the second thing you're not criticizing here.
so he was pulled from that. But you know what I mean? Heaven's Gate.
No, I was just going to ask you.
This Neowise was the most visible comment. Most visible comment since the 90s. And I remember watching that Hale-Bopp comet up there in the sky. And there was a group that said when it left that they killed themselves, that they were already doing stuff like castrating themselves and stuff. So it was already a dangerous group, but they killed them.
Was that the one who inspired Reverend Jim Jones or whatever? Or
well, that was something before, but there was a mass suicide. There was a mass. Generally, let's be honest. What they call cults versus mainstream religion. 25 million people were murdered for not being Christian or supposedly being the wrong type of Christian.
What?
Not because they were killers or something. Because 25 million people. So that alone indicates to you that all other religions combined do not equal the level of problems that Christianity has brought. So,
and people don't know about this.
A lot of people do, and a lot of people try to pretend like, those passages in the Bible where you kill those who don't make Jesus Lord and you destroy non-Christian media and all this other stuff. They pretend those ones don't exist until they. But Anyway, Heaven's Gate,
Oh.
they killed themselves when Hale-Bopp left because they figured they have to kill themselves to get the aliens to take their souls with them.
Oh shit.
So I thought the Unicult Discord. I got word that she said on a video. I was already off the list, and this is probably why, because I would have pulled the red flag on that. I would have pulled the red flag on that. I don't care if I get kicked out of the group. I need to save some people from committing suicide, which I have done through my work, and that makes it alone worth it. I don't have to. Honestly, doing my channel takes a lot of my spare money. It does. I don't have much money to begin with. So, but I enjoy the spiritual work. If I was just by myself, there was no power, massive power outage. Honestly, whether or not my father or some neighbor or something's going to take part in or whatever, I'm going to sit down with my spiritual books and cultural books and language books and stuff like this. I'm going to study. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to farm. I'm going to do what I can.
You're doing a very good job, I must say. You're living like you learn.
So I don't have to have money. I don't have to have a lot of followers. Thousands of people have unsubscribed from my channel because I talk about everything. And sometimes people don't like it. It's like you shared a story about some guy going up and trying and drinking. Some guy who, when Muhammad had a medical procedure done, went up and drank his blood instead of disposing it. It's like, I'm sharing that story because one, it shows that, I mean, one, it's there, it's listed as a historical event, and the time where people, he got injured on the battlefield, and some dudes went up and tried to lick, started licking the blood, and the guy's like, obviously the message was don't do this type of stuff, but it was also that it wasn't. There's just some people out there, they're trying to get powers or whatever. Just, you know, that you can't necessarily react with them that you're just going to try to kill them or something, because you gotta have tact. But but I talk about different stuff. I'll talk about Buddhism.
You talk about a lot.
I'll talk about Christianity. I'll talk about Enochian magic.
That's what I like about you. I think I mentioned that in the last video we did. Like, that's the thing I like with you. You know, you're not dogmatic at all, and you are not close-minded to anything either. And that's a good combination of curiosity and, you know, being able to learn new things. You know, most people are close-minded, but you're probably the least close-minded person I've ever met or know personally, I must say.
Well, things at least have to be dealt with. Have to be responded to like they're real instead of pretending they don't.
Somebody needs to respond to them.
And if we're conspiracy theories that don't turn out to be real, it's good to point some of that out, because people worry an awful lot about all sorts of stuff. And a lot of the people, it turns out, I just found out there was some other show, this guy saying, the government has some baby eating cult for adrenochrome or whatever this guy was trying to. You know what he did himself?
No.
He was a child molester who sounded like, according to, they haven't found I don't know if they found the bodies, but he was raping and killing and eating kids himself. That was why he was talking about this stuff. It wasn't that other people were doing it. It was he was bringing that up to try to distract from what he was doing.
Shit! Was he a reptile or what's going on here?
Well, he said there was
must have been a reptile.
This guy, what's his name? Timothy Charles Holmseth. I've lost track of the screen here.
Okay. I'm just gonna drink some. I'm just gonna read some fucking soda here. What's your favorite drink, by the way? Mine is Coca-Cola and Swedish Julmust.
I don't. Is that some fruit or something you have there that we don't have here?
This is the drink you drink in Christmas. You know, it tastes like Coca-Cola, but a little more. How do you explain it? It tastes a little like beer and Coca-Cola mixed together or something, you could say. But I like it. You know.
No, so you're so it's like drinking pop and beer at the same time.
Yeah, you could say that. Maybe. Yeah,
Well,
just had to have my little drink there. So yeah, I'm back.
well, in my I got a lot of Scottish, a lot of German, a lot of English and stuff. So we have two types of people in my family.
Okay, tell me about it. I'm curious.
Those that don't drink or smoke, and those that are
Mm-hmm.
addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not much in between. So either you're an alcoholic with headaches and all that all the time, and or you just don't drink. And so that alone kind of but a lot of these stuff I can't handle. The benzoates, I can't handle a lot of stuff. I just it's like for breathgis, I was able to find cheap enough mangoes to eat, and I had mangoes.
Oh, I love mangoes. This is my favorite fruit.
That's the most the three most. What do you think the three foods that humans eat the most?
Bananas, mangoes, and coconuts. Is that right?
Well, not coconuts. Rice is actually number 3. But
all right.
Yeah, those are the three most eaten foods.
2 of those.
And so if you look at our teeth and our guts kind of tell us a lot about how we should eat. But I can't have. And all this stuff with these concentrated proteins and all this other stuff.
I don't like that idea with proteins.
I can it's just like peanuts. Peanut butter has more protein. You can get a peanut butter that's stronger in protein than beef, and it's like, and you can eat peanut butter every day. So it's like, well, so I can handle all sorts. It's like MSG. I can handle it in the foods that it exists in, but as a food ingredient, no. Now, if I had a wife, I probably would have been hospitalized because she's like, your face is going numb. It's like, hold on, honey, let's see if it gets worse. Or if I was hanging out with someone I was going out with, they probably would have that day. I would have probably. But this company changed their product. I like all sorts of different herbs and spices from around the world and stuff like this. I mean, I'm not going to spend $25 for a frozen durian or some crazy stuff like that. But or $80 a pound for saffron or whatever. But,
my philosophy on that point is I don't believe that. I did a couple of videos on it. I don't believe in that you have to sacrifice something to gain something. I think if you're intelligent, like an alien, you can have the cake and eat it too. What's more important is what you put in. There are like very powerful herbs that you can eat. So you don't have to eat a balanced diet. You can eat whatever you want. Hamburgers, pizza, kebab, ice cream. You can eat your favorite food. Just make sure you know which herbs to include in the body, which can increase your immune system. Your digestion will improve.
Given that they're foods you can eat. But out of aside from vitamin C and zinc, and of course the two cheap medications. That's the thing. They want you to take expensive medications.
Yes, zinc is important.
But you don't have too much zinc. Like if you eat meat every day, you're probably going to have so much zinc that it's going to cause heart failure later in your life. You don't want to die in your 40s or 50s or even your 60s because you just couldn't eat a balanced diet. That's just not the thing. But
have you ever heard about black ants? Chinese black ants? I ordered some of those. It's supposed to be the most zinc-rich substance in the world, and you should definitely check in. I can give you the tip. You should definitely go to dragonherbs.com. They have the best herbs in the world. It's called dragonherbs.com, and you should check out black ants or polyarchid ants. It's the most powerful.
Zinc and vitamin C. There's doses you can take all the time or once a week or whatnot. Just like you can't eat. Your body really can't handle eating a pound of fish a day. But
that's exactly
but once a week, no problem. But some of these vitamins, if you get exposed, if you're sick or something, then you can take more of the vitamins. It's like right outside, maybe 10 feet away from where I am. Maybe is it 15 feet? Maybe 15 feet from where I'm sitting. There's wormwood, and I can eat a pinch. You can eat a pinch of that every single day. Every single day for your whole life, you can have a pinch of that for it's technically, you can call it absinthe, but it's not hard liquor. You know, that's something different.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that it's like I talked about getting drunk with your pills. It's
Yeah.
the a lot of people do that sort of thing. So it's like if you really get if you drink, you know, if you drink a 40 of vodka, seat with wormwood and some stuff, maybe some other stuff.
That sounds very interesting. I must say,
You're going to get it's going to be a different type of drunk than and it's going to be a lot of wormwood.
Okay.
It's not going to be, but the yeah, not recommending this. Don't need to pull my video, YouTube.
Yeah, we sidetracked.
Right, you can have a pinch a day, but if you get sick, you can cure an infection or even a cold or something by taking a larger
I think your
dose.
way of seeing your approach is more natural. Like I think that, you know, the way we're meant to use herbs and stuff it's probably your way is more the right way. But I have like this spiritual relationship with these herbs. I you know, I know there are like seasons to take them and times to take them and geographical to take them, but I if you look at it from a energy standpoint alone and you don't care about, you know, anything else, then I think that you can take these substances independent of what they do or what they contain, just for the sake of the energy and motivation and all these spiritual qualities that they bring. Like, for example, you know, reishi mushroom is said to be immunomodulator, and you know, but that's not why I'm taking it. I'm taking this just you can say for energy purposes and for, you know, feeling better and improving my mood, and it's like medicine for me, spiritual medicine.
And what well that's one of I don't VK Jehannam saying he says I can smoke heavy and all this other stuff and never have the effects of it, and then it's like wait, what? I thought you were 40 and I thought you were you look 40 and I thought maybe you were going to say you were like 60 or something, and it's like you're in your early 20s. No in this video where he's talking about that, I'm like, oh, what? No way in the world I'm taking any advice like that, or you know, but drug addicts convince themselves of that sort of thing. It's like you see the people that look old, like 10 years older than they are, saying, oh, these meth addicts. It's like, but your drinking and smoking has left you looking a good 20 years older than you really are. And this guy, the other guy next to you, he looks 10 years older than he.
How old really is VK Jehannam, by the way?
I think he's still in his 20s or something.
What? He's in his 20s?
So, but I think Nargargle made it sort of clear in the when he was talking.
Somebody's coming now. I need to keep my voice down. Okay, continue.
I think Nargargle Schlad talked about this a little bit clearer, is that you can do it's like if you do something as part of your spiritual practice, sometimes it can bring in a high all by itself. Sometimes it will enhance the high, or sometimes it will stop the high. You just don't feel it. But when you do the thing as part of the practice. But the point I was making was that some of these herbs and vitamins and stuff, you have doses that you can take when you're exposed to something or when you're sick that you don't take all the time. And some of these stuff is proving effective, and we just don't know that. I mean, they don't want us to know about it because again, it interferes with the medical thing. It's I was exposed to this eyebright stuff, and I tried this eyebright stuff because I lived in a really bad situation apartment-wise. There was mold everywhere. They wouldn't fix it because I was poor. I couldn't afford to move anywhere else. Government housing's reserved for people who can work. They have people working 30 to 70 hours a week getting government housing because they can't get into government housing anywhere else. And on top of that, they don't let you leave at night. So they let you leave. They let you get up and head to work and give you enough time to get home, but they don't let you hang out with your friends on the weekend at night because they shut the building. They shut the building at night, every night, so you can't leave. You want to show up to some dawn prayer, some dawn or sunrise prayer service or discussion or something like this. You can't do this. You can't attend a concert. You can't do a lot of stuff. I mean, if you earn some spare money and you want to see a concert, why can't I go stay out past midnight and
Yeah.
go see that concert and come back? But you can't do that in government housing. And of course, and
Okay.
I'm not really in the shape to work a regular 30 to 70-hour job, but you have people
Oh, me
working
neither.
even that much
Yeah.
to uh, so government housing should be for the disabled. First of all, that should be the focus,
Hmm.
not
There
these
you said something.
not these slave workers. But that's how they've rearranged it. But anyways, I
Yeah,
couldn't get into
exactly.
other places, and I had trouble breathing, and there was an
Yeah.
herb that helped me breathe. And this
Uh-huh.
herb apparently is helping people from the worst symptoms. Um,
Oh,
my father, it works on my father too. I'm saying, no, carry some with you. If you come down with this thing and it hits you with the worst symptoms, you can survive to get into the hospital, or you can survive to get home, and treat it yourself by just sitting around taking vitamins and stuff like you get over most stuff with.
I gotta
Um,
keep my voice down, by the way. You can continue talking.
um, so yeah, that is, so, uh, but with a lot, taking it away from just plain plants, ourselves, we have a lot of stuff. It's just in us. We have to activate ourselves and trust in ourselves.
Exactly.
Because
Most of these herbs, they activate what's already within us.
and you look at blood and urine. They want to give you drugs before they give you I'll show you this, because this is kind of neat. Look,
Hmm.
this is exactly the autograph I wanted. Hey, it showed it for a second.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
you see that signature. For some reason, it kind of
Yeah, I'm seeing it, I think.
it zapped out the screen. Well, it says to my beloved. It says to my beloved consumer. So that's how I wanted it autographed.
Yeah.
But one of the issues that I found out with her, she says on her blog, she says, I did it to make him happy. So she reported a guy for rape.
Okay.
But it turned out that she told them that she didn't say no, she didn't resist. She gave
Uh-huh.
in because she wanted to make him happy, and was already in a relationship with him, and they done it a bunch of times, and he just came in for more when she wasn't completely in the mood. And I thought that's what part of a relationship was. Sometimes one partner wants it more than the others, and you just you share in that. But she kind of disagreed with that aspect. So and years later, this guy met with her again and said, wanted to clear things up or something, or at least settle her or something. He never said that there was he never said that there was that there was a rape or anything. But yeah. So basically, just like what I was saying with the feminism, is the feminists have told a lot of women to call it rape when it was consensual. You don't need to
Hmm.
tell guys that if a woman says no, if a woman resists, that you know
Hmm.
you don't have to you don't have to tell anybody. And just like enthusiastic
I'm
consent,
coming. Gotta keep my voice down.
enthusiastic consent is destructive. If a woman agrees to something, she agrees to something. She doesn't have to yell out yes, yes, and disturb all the neighbors. Um, and honestly, those women don't look like they're having as much fun as some of the other women.
Yeah, that was funny.
So yeah, but after her suicide attempt and being hospitalized, of course, just like I said about Eckankar, the second leader
Yeah.
in Eckankar was in a mental hospital before he became the leader.
You hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I
So
continue.
she spent time in a mental hospital, and she's posted some of her uh, writings when she was in the mental hospital.
No?
But basically, she came out and decided, okay, I'm going to give life a chance. and I'm going to try to figure out stuff. So she went about looking at all sorts of largely New Age books. You can tell she just picked up all sorts of books on channeling and all sorts of other stuff that. And if you have a feeling or a thought, you got to credit yourself.
You hear me now, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah, good.
If you have a feeling or you thought, just like the Baptist, don't act like some God is speaking through you when it's just your own feelings and thoughts. Take full on responsibility for yourself.
Exactly. Take full on responsibility on that one.
And like what I say about my number in my number symbolism videos, I'm always I'm always saying, hey, whatever these messages are, whatever their context, whatever further thing that you want to interpret at these the things that have been brought up with, you look at that and you say, it's your responsibility what you do with it. The sage directs the oracle. He doesn't consult the oracle.
The sage directs the oracle. That's interesting.
You look at these. It's like I try to throw in something good, crazy, all sorts of stuff. So it's like if I find something with about a number, it's like such and such eats children. Okay, I'm including that one. But you have to shoot somebody because of this. Okay, I'm including that. But to show you, it's like you can't say, I keep noticing this number. And I keep noticing this number.
Yeah, that's what New Agers do all the time.
And it's like you don't let that rule your life, because it's like 666 has good symbolism and bad symbolism.
Oh, that's a good one.
What you do with it.
The
Son of Man.
What do you think 666 represents? I'm seeing it everywhere.
I've done a lot of videos on that. It was part. I have an ID where it's the zip code. It's part of the zip code. 666 is in the middle of the zip code.
Zip code? Now you got to tell me more about that shit.
In America, we have like 5-digit zip codes. So 666 was in the zip code. I joined when I joined the Eckankar group. 666 was in the middle of my membership number. I have there's a vehicle with a part on it that has 66. It's come up a lot in my life. 666 has, and
it's come up in your life as well, everywhere.
But
like, is it on mine?
The funny thing about the number is it's mostly good. Yes, Saurut, the demon of the sun, and Son of Man, and that's
Sorat, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how well the graphic shows there, but there's a SWRT equals, 66, 200, 400. So Son of Man is, 666. I've gone over everything in the biblical languages. I've connected it to Quran related stuff. I've done a lot with the number. I've done more with that number than any other number.
Oh, I need to check out all your videos about that, because I really missed something here.
Basically, it's because I was 36. So being 36, the numbers 1 through 36, if you add them up, you get 666. That's why.
You're 36 now?
No, I'm 38.
Okay. All right.
And so being 36, I said, this is the year I got to go to churches and talk about this, walking around them. Some churches.
Yeah, I saw a lot of videos you did of going to churches. I very much liked them. I saw them a long time ago.
I'm not welcome back at some of those.
I could guess. Yeah.
One of them,
you were actually kicked out from some of the churches you went to, or?
Not since I was a teenager, actually. But I get very much the impression that I would not. It's like there's one that is like, I'm just doing pictures of the graveyard. Thank you very. I walked around the church. I talked. I said that it was good. I said that it was good that they're actually open. It looks like they're open for something other than a Sunday, which is like most churches.
What the fuck?
So I thought I said that was a good thing and whatnot. I circled around the graveyard, and most of the graveyard hasn't been photographed, so why not let somebody? Why not let some guy just?
Why not let somebody fucking photograph them?
But one of the things though about unless there's like a fence or a door that you have to break open or something like this, you can just walk up.
Then there's no problem.
and do your thing. There's supposed to be nonprofit organizations and all this other stuff, and they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They used to operate in the way that. They don't get me wrong. They do have laws where the preacher can can sit in a up to $25 million home property and say, "Oh, as long as I'm the preacher, it's my private domain as the minister." They wrote that into Texas law. So Olstein sitting in his more than $10 million estate.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, like I say in my videos, laws are just there for a beautiful facade. Nobody follows them anyway, so.
But
yeah,
you're supposed to be until if they tell you leave and don't come back, then you're done for. And I respect that. I hold to that.
I think you do. I really think you would respect that, and they know that, but they just don't want you there. So
one church, they came out and told me
they don't want honest people in churches. Just so you know that.
Not during school. I did have a restraining order because of that. Because I asked too many questions as a teenager.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this is the church I want to go to. Why can't I go to this church? And they made the.
You were too honest. They don't like that.
But
yeah.
But her number is
okay. What did it say then?
1100. The church that said not. I showed up. I said, there's a graveyard out back, and I found the oldest graves I've ever physically encountered, because in my country, 1600 is as old as it gets, really, unless you find some.
Oh, I like old graves. That's an interesting thing.
So I found I saw this stuff, and so I was there filming the graveyard. I walked around the church, talking. Basically, I try to have some biblical related lesson, which is really troublesome to some churches, because I would get banned from the property, but from some of these places if I make a regular thing about it, because there's stuff they don't want to talk about. Like I said, you can talk. There's a version of the. I forget where it is. Where is it? The Lot story. There's a version of the story where the guy's like. Instead of trying to protect his wife and daughters, he pushes his wife and daughter out the door to be gang raped all night, and then in the morning.
That didn't sound very good.
And then in the morning he's like, I don't want. I'm not sure if he says this, but he doesn't want them anymore. He doesn't want his wife and daughter around anymore after being gang raped. It's like, you pushed them to the ground. What are you talking about, dude?
What the fuck?
So he chops them up. So he kills them, and chops them up, and gives a piece of his wife and daughter to each of the tribes of Israel.
What the fuck? Okay.
You bring that up as a Sunday school lesson. You're out the church, yes.
You're out the church, right?
Or that passage in Ezekiel about the penis, and these women were insatiable. They sought after foreign men whose penises were like donkeys and they ejaculated like horses.
They explain away everything in a good package, don't they?
But like, why in the world did you include that one, or the story where you stick your hand up a woman and it's But so I do get her. She didn't find meaning, and she after failed relationships, she kind of wanted to offer herself, and she feminine. She was. She makes it sound like she Unicole, back to the whole Unicole Unicron thing. She thought.
Okay, back to business.
She thought she could be a housewife, right? She thought she could. Okay. She thought she could be a mother and have children herself and be a wife and all that. But
she was disappointed by reality, right?
Well, reality. Actually, no, she didn't. She did end up marrying some guy, which she couldn't.
Oh, she did.
And she beat him until he left the country.
I can understand.
Which I totally understand. When a woman starts beating you, it's time to go.
It's time to go then. Yeah, It's narcissist
It doesn't matter
danger.
if you know, you get the toaster thrown at you and you get hit, and
Oh shit.
it's time that you pack the bags in the middle of the night.
That's very new agey of her to do, right?
But this is since she started this group, by the way. But in 2012, she made it an official thing, and so
yeah, that seemed to be the year where retardation exploded in the world.
Oh, and you know the interesting thing about they program these numbers into you. I found that ever since I was a kid, I've been told in movies, music. I didn't notice it at the time, and then I look back. It's like, wait a second, Rage Against the Machine. This had a song. This movie, all this other stuff. 2020 is going to be the year of riots, and nowadays, tens of millions of dollars in property damage has been done in riots.
Oh shit!
Fires up and down the west coast of my country set by arson.
Oh fuck!
And
I have no idea of those things.
And
I'm living in Sweden, so
people getting killed in the street with numbers that have been reached before. And
is it really as bad as they say it is?
And
about that shit,
it depends on where you are. The country is pretty big to have crime from. There's more 12 times the number of white people killed by blacks is the other way around, and they're claiming systemic racism. And it's like, no, it's you dude. It's you dudes thinking that you need to get revenge on the whitey for something that maybe his ancestor did, maybe his ancestor didn't do, whatever.
What the fuck?
But I mean, okay, most black people aren't off doing this, and most people don't realize. But Black Lives Matter and Antifa
that's what I was thinking about. Black Lives Matter.
They're an issue, and they've supported thousands of killings have been supported by them. The culture, the gangster culture, it's like, I don't sympathize with the people that get, if you're in the middle of a violent crime, if you're armed, if you're out on bail for raping somebody, you're getting arrested for.
They're like the new invisible enemy, you could say.
They've protested over 50 criminals in the middle of the thing, including people who've died in drug overdoses. The guy that they're using to spark the whole thing, he was high on meth. He decided he wanted to have some fentanyl and took it. He died on 1,000 doses. 1,000 doses of fentanyl. People.
Are you joking with me? What the fuck?
They're not reporting. The main news story, Court TV said the guy.
What?
Court TV said the guy died. They showed the video. The guy took a pill. He started freaking out. He had they checked his vitals and stuff to see what was going on. He just overdosed too quick. If you took fentanyl, if you're seriously injured and you've worked your way onto it, or in your hospital setting, you know how much fentanyl they give you? They give you 100. They can the most they're ever going to give you is 100-dose patch, which lasts.
What was it called? Fentanyl?
Fentanyl, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I've heard about fentanyl. I had a friend that fucking took it as you could say drugs. They take it like benzo. You know, they take it to get high and they like it. That's fun. What kind of stupid shit is that?
You don't need too much, and if you're taking illegally acquired doses, you're not going to know what level you're going to take, and it's something you really can't mess around with. As I'm saying, if this was morphine, a couple milligrams of morphine would have felt it, but it wouldn't have been that bad. But when you're dealing with something 1,000 times as potent as morphine, you're taking 1,000.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's what I heard. It's like
1,000 doses in the hospital.
1,000 doses of fentanyl.
So he died. He died in the police's arms, really, and they proved that he didn't die of strangulation. That was why he's foaming at the mouth. Dude was foaming at the mouth. It wasn't because he was strangled to death, and they showed that on the autopsy. But people rioting in the street, like,
oh shit. What the fuck is this shit?
And they've been telling us for years. We have a Civil Rights Act in this country. No one's arrested because they're black. No one's prejudiced against because they're black. As far as the system thing, individuals are prejudiced against all sorts of people. I faced prejudice for being white my whole life, but it wasn't systemic.
Yeah,
it wasn't systemic. It was.
That's okay because you're white.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's because
Yeah.
but you're a white male. It's like, you want to go somewhere with my white maleness? And of course he's fat. But I'm a lesbian. I don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I found that super.
That's why I don't care about that shit.
But again,
Yeah.
people have desires. What they do with them, what they do with
We
them.
need to stop being politically correct. That's the lesson of all this shit.
And right there, that issue of suffering. Suffering
Yeah.
is a choice, but suffering is not the same thing as hardship. So if you're seeking, I want to claim that I'm persecuted.
Yeah.
I want to claim that I want to say that I'm offended. It's like, why in the world do you want to make a point of this? And honestly, it's like I pointed out in one of my programs that it's like there's a difference biblically how they deal with blasphemers, and that's, again, these people, they just they don't look into, people don't look into their own, Christians don't look into the Bible. So why would you expect a Muslim not to take the interpretation off the TV rather than check their own source?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you should, but you kind of don't. So, but I pointed out the thing of blasphemy. Islam has an approach of blasphemy where they say, just don't hang out with the people that are blaspheming. Kind of, ignore and do your own thing. It's not, oh, that's offensive, we have to go kill this person or stop them from physically and all that. No.
Yeah.
So a lot of this suffering is because people are trying to. It's like, I'm not transphobic. If you're LGBT, whatever your desires and whatnot, you practice on your own. That
I don't have a problem with that.
But if that's your choice. Just don't inflict it on me.
Yeah. Exactly. Just don't be a hypocrite about it.
If you consider yourself a goat, or in Oregon, there was a guy who considered himself to be a goat, and someone else considered themselves to be a snake. Now, as long as that wasn't being forced on me, whatever, dude, get all the tattoos and whatnot you want, and pretend like that's what you are. It's like shamanism. You put on this thing, a bear skin, berserkers. They put on a bear skin and did their thing and gone into the role, and magical drama. You get into the role, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's your identity for life. And I think a lot of this, we're not in touch with this. With this spiritual dramas and stuff like that, and meditation and stuff like this, so we feel like we have to have surgeries and all this other stuff and have to force things on others. It's like, don't say that I'm still a male. I
think you mentioned it before when you said it becomes another religion or something.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We're designed to have some sort of universal relationship, and if we don't take it on, then someone's out there doing the thing. And and they talk about people have different experiences, and people have different interpretations, and sometimes a lot of that can be this. Sometimes it does depend on just what's going on in your own mind.
Oh, I think somebody's coming. I need to keep my voice down a little bit. Just gonna see if just one moment. I'm gonna see who I've heard there. But you keep talking.
So, and you can engage those different things. Like, I personally don't see evidence for there having to be physical aliens, but there could be. There's a lot of weird things. Who knows? Some of our technology may have been brought down by some being in a spaceship, but a lot of it, I think, is psychological or spiritual phenomena, and
interesting.
That can be just as real. I've encountered I encountered a being or group of beings that you could that I now refer to as Drill Sergeant Gray, and it's like, when it seemed that I was dying or something pretty horrible, it's like sometimes there was like this sort of grayish, like typical sort of alien sort of thing that would appear.
Wow.
Like, it was weird. I mean, it wasn't like it was get him. But when I was having trouble breathing and couldn't get up and didn't know whether I was going to die, a few of those times.
Wow, so you actually seen one?
There would be this like gray being like there beside me on the bed or above me or something. One time,
Wow.
it like changed. It's like this green glowing color. It was like giant, like Buddha giant. Because you know the stories about the Buddhas that they're like, like
Rakshasa? No.
50% taller than you. So like if you're 6 feet tall, they're like 9 feet tall, and they're big around and all this
Nephilim or?
But there was like one time it appeared like that, usually smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard this drill sergeant Gray thing, I'm like, oh, that's that. I mean, I've heard of Grays before, but when I've heard about it in that manifestation, I kind of understood that, that seemed what it was. And auras.
Oh, shit.
And auras. Auras is a subject they talk about. Auras. You have scientifically. It used to be it was accepted, and then you were crazy for noticing something. But you know what?
Yeah.
Around the body, living objects in particular, put off heat, moisture, and magnetism. Period.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about that one. Yeah.
So people need to stop their moralistic judgments, where they're looking at the aura and saying, at the end of the day, after a long day of work.
Yeah.
It's like
your aura becomes gray or
it's like
whatever.
It's like these are bad people. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, doesn't have to be that black or white.
At 7. He just got up. He shut his shop.
That's bullshit.
At 9
that's
o'clock,
fucking New Age bullshit.
And we hang out. And we're all hanging out here. And afterwards, you're going to tell me that you think this guy's a bad guy because his aura is dark at the end of the day, exhausted.
Oh fuck!
It's like, no.
That's the kind of mindset I was into, and I think it's a very dangerous mindset for people who are getting into the New Age to fall into. You become very judgmental just based on auras alone. And what kind of bullshit is that? I mean,
it's like
people are much more than their auras. People are beliefs. People are so many things else than just an aura.
And some of it's racist, by the way. You know the indigo children thing. If you have northern Asian, northern European, maybe like Eskimo sort of North America sort of ancestry.
Interesting, yeah.
You're more likely to put off that purple indigo sort of aura because your body's more designed for
it's that aspect as well, yeah.
And you have a bigger brain and smaller air passages and other stuff that helps you deal with cold. All this prejudice based on any of those things. But if you say that, and interestingly enough, some of the people with the biggest heads are people with smaller brains. But that area also produces, that area of Africa also produces smarter people.
Energy. Yeah.
Some of the smartest people in the world always come from those two areas of Africa. So you can't judge. We're built for climate, so you can't necessarily look at somebody and say, "Oh, yeah, you're from this part of your ancestors part of the world, so you must be stupid." It's like no. But the aura, the indigo children thing was the same sort of prejudice, just in different language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because some rich white woman and a couple other rich white dudes saw that this was their own pattern and didn't even think for a second that it could be.
Yeah, and they project it upon others. They see themselves and project.
and that's the thing too, is that your own personal taste, and that's what they try to do. Whether it's a New Age religion or not, have you seen the life of Monty Python's The Life of Brian? They're following around and all this other stuff, and they did that. I think it's clearest. You look at Muhammad; they followed him around so much. You had to give multiple speeches saying stuff like, "If you throw something at a peeping Tom and they get hurt, it's their fault." It's
really.
I totally agree with, but the people were trying to see. He got basic teachings to go into the bathroom, but people were like wanted to see for themselves to see it. It's like, no, dude, don't stop.
Okay, I think I get you there. But
they follow people around, and it's like there's stories. there's one guy who passed on like 300 stories of the various leaves and pitchers of water and stuff like this that Muhammad would go off and would have taken with him on the way to the bathroom. It's like,
Yeah.
really, that's the stories you're going to pass on? You forget his instructions about what to do with after he died. You forgot half his speech, but I have 10 more stories about him about what he had fetched on his way to the bathroom. Yeah. So people really did fall, and stories about how he walked around rooms. There were a lot of those, and so people really did focus on stuff that was really not important and just you know.
Oh, okay. That can be good to know about.
This is his favorite tree between the he'd sit under this tree more often than these other trees in this orchard. No matter how many times he passed by this thing, most of the times it was this tree. And it's like to the point where they had to cut down trees because people were like, we need to go worship at this tree. And it's like they did that with Buddha too. Remember that the whole Buddha story was that he meditated under a tree, and they don't remember much of his teachings. And the real. They came up with teachings later, but they didn't really remember much about what he actually had to say historically. But they remember that tree that he talked about.
Yeah, the Bodhi tree, right?
So there was a tree that so people make pilgrimage to his remains and the tree and all this other stuff. But there were all sorts of incarnations.
So those details, those unimportant details, are not so much unimportant details after all, right?
Well, it's some of the stuff is what people remember, but some of the stuff that you would consider important, it's like
shit.
But yeah, it's the fanaticism thing. Whether you're worshiping the leader or not.
Wow. It
like,
tells me how much deviated religion really is from original teachings. How man has the tendency to take something that is so multifaceted and make it into one thing, right?
Oh well, that's one of the things too. Is that?
And they do that with humans when we talk about auras too. They take one thing, the aura, and they judge the whole person based on that little detail there. Oh shit!
And
you got me aware of something new here.
And the thing with the aura thing that they've talked that they have here is that you use it. An aura, your aura can be a vehicle where you communicate with things outside of yourself, and you can manipulate. They don't talk about it too well. There's a lot of general ideas, but it takes which they don't. See, that's the thing. If males are better at something, it'd be nice to admit maleness into your group or something like this as sort of accepting of
it
your
would,
identity.
but they won't do that, right?
Because
they're too elitist.
I
guess, like every new age group.
Well, you can tell. You can tell she's not. She wants to make all her money from the cult rather than corporate jobs, but she's not.
Oh, okay.
And on if you count all her books and stuff like this, I'm not sure she's made that back, even though she's getting a lot of members now.
She's getting a lot of members now, I guess.
Yeah, she went viral.
I guess there's a lot of people
TikTok views and stuff because people are like, oh, starseed. How can I know that I'm a starseed?
Oh yeah, how can I not jump on board on that shit?
all that stuff, and the government's after me, and
I'm a targeted individual.
That's the great. She made a video.
She really did?
I'm not going to say the name of it because I feel like maybe that would be considered doxing. But she made a video.
Yeah, okay, you're part of the group, so I understand.
And the video. Well, I mean, we have laws in my country about exposing people's legal name and or address or anything like that. But anyway, she made a video. And although she doesn't have like a paper that says her address or something on it, she gave all the information that you never have to pay for a search or anything. You just do a simple Google search. I found out her legal name, her birth date, not the post office, that she uses for the group.
Okay.
Her home address and number is available for anybody who saw that video.
Okay.
I've never paid to find out somebody's number or anything like that before. And I,
Yeah.
you know, it was right there. I didn't know her legal name, and it was just, you know, I figured she was probably, you know, think about it. You don't need to
Yeah.
say it, but at least one of her names,
Yeah. It's
you
yeah.
know right off the bat what that name might be based on that. But
Yeah.
she, you found out where so many of these targeted video. It's like
Hmm.
I know a target. I know an individual that
Oh, there's so much
do
bullshit in
do
that community. Oh fuck.
everybody, whether you're
Everybody's a targeted individual.
whether
Everybody.
well, look at the advertising. They're all trying to mess with us and make us into their slave in one way or another.
Yeah.
But the and if we didn't have the media,
Uh-huh.
we'd still have the government. We'd still have the spiritual
Hmm.
entities that are and the cult leaders and the church leaders and stuff trying to turn us all into
But
their own thing. Um, uh, the church that I was raised in was appeared in an age where churches were heavily competing for souls, traveling all
hmm.
about, trying to act like they might. You know, if you were a Catholic, you were like not really even Christian, and if you
Hmm.
weren't a church going Christian, like you
Exactly.
still weren't
Yeah.
saved. It's like it's like individual beliefs and deeds don't
Yeah.
even
And they
matter
were
anymore,
targeted
you remember.
individuals back then. They were
Well,
targeted, but for different reasons.
um, I mean, some people did face persecution. There was some real stuff
Yeah.
going on, but uh, you know,
Hmm.
I've seen people say that they're targeted individuals, and then they put their home address and phone number
Yeah.
and put it on the internet or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like what? What? No.
What? Yeah.
And practically telling
Yeah.
some people even some of these
Oh
targeted.
shit.
I haven't known anybody personally, but
No,
I've
me
come
neither.
across
Actually.
videos where people have put like
Yeah.
social security numbers. It's like you can steal their bank information, fraud them, all sorts of stuff because of their
Oh,
bank.
that's so fucking stupid. Oh my gosh, that's so new age stupid. Fuck.
But you know, it's like okay, if
Yeah.
I don't have a laptop right now, so I could go
Yeah,
out.
me neither.
I
Oh,
could
you neither?
I could go out and these phones they use up
Yeah.
most of your space tracking you.
Yeah.
They make a
I'm a
little money,
targeted individual. I
a
have an
little
iPhone.
a little miniature thing keeps. So the police if they
Yeah.
arrest
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
they look at your phone and see everywhere you've been since you've had everywhere the
Exactly.
phone has been. And
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
so you get a phone and it's like, oh, this is great,
Yeah.
I can shoot
I'm a
10,
targeted individual,
I
but
can
I'm
shoot
still alive.
you know, you get a new phone and it's like I can shoot 10 gigabytes worth of
Yeah.
high definition video, and then you find out the
Yeah.
video audio corrects itself, and you end up storing so much information over the years that
Uh-huh.
it wants to keep track of all your phone calls
Yeah.
everywhere where you've
Yeah.
been, and that information just zaps your space in half by the time
Yeah.
at least by the time your phone's gone. And it's like I want to use my full hour of video time, thank you very much. So
Yeah. Thank you.
I can't have five chat apps
Yeah.
on my phone
Uh-huh.
and still do videos. I want to do at least the 33-minute video as my max. I want to have that available,
Hmm.
you know. So I don't
Yeah.
really have the space to do anything more than I have on it.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah. This anyway. My point was that you have
Yeah.
everybody has whether you're put through persecution or not. What we
Hmm.
are responsible for is our
Hmm.
beliefs and action, what we do with what we have. If we do the best we can with
Mm.
what we have, it's like okay. Uh,
Yeah.
it's like honestly, people talk about white supremacy isn't the same thing as prejudice. It's just there's
Yeah.
some groups have higher and lower crime rates, and stop
Hmm.
encouraging the gangs. And
Hmm.
that's the problem with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter encourages
Hmm.
the don't tell on the criminal. Oh, if there's a rapist or a murderer in the country in your area, at least tell on
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
If
Don't
not,
tell about it.
if not, figure out. Don't
Yeah.
tell and deal with it
Let the
privately.
invisible abuse go on.
No.
Don't do anything about it.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not going to make it as clear, but you know what I'm talking about. Or
Yeah,
don't
absolutely. Yeah.
tell don't tell and have somebody
Yeah.
take care of it.
Hmm.
Don't tell and have someone take care of it. You know what I'm talking about.
Because we wanted this behavior to be. We want the blacks to take over the whites. It's part of our plan.
But if we're honest about it, honestly, actually, they're more. The Black Lives Matter kills more black people than the
More people than the coronavirus.
Um,
I'm sure.
Well, uh, well, not per se going there with that, but
Yeah. Okay.
the supporting
Yeah.
of the gangs in my
Mm.
country every year in the past 40
Mm-hmm.
years,
Wow.
black gangs have killed more black people than the Ku Klux Klan did in their entire existence. They destroy more property
Wow. Shit.
every year for 40 years.
I
And
did not know
since
that.
2013, the Black Lives Matter has been not supporting the good, not trying to bring out the best in the black community, but
Mm-hmm.
supporting the violent criminals on rampages. Like, oh, the police shot this guy who had a gun and was or diving for a knife after when we were
Yeah.
trying to arrest him. You got a
Fuck.
rapist. You got a rapist out on bail,
Yeah.
attacked women again, and they were trying
Oh
to bring him
shit.
in. He was diving for a knife. He had a history of pulling guns on people, and the police were trying
What?
to arrest the guy, and they shot him when he dove for a knife.
What?
And people are all upset. Oh, the Kennewa shooting should have never happened. It's like, are you
It's so
kidding?
bad. No.
I would have shot him myself in that situation.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Shit.
it's like I support the death penalty, but it's not because
Mm-hmm.
people have certain desires or they're a certain color. It's because
Mm-hmm.
they've committed rape, murder. They're out
Yeah.
there having sex with people who haven't hit puberty. That's
Exactly.
that's what are they done enough torture that maybe it's time to.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that be all vigilante or something, because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily going to be a way out that well.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences in this world are probably not going to be worth it for that. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, but if you look at things,
Yeah.
the whites,
There must be consequences to these
the
things.
whites don't do the best. No group in America does the best with what they have. Certain individuals, some groups do better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the church I was raised in is one of the most. It may not be the biggest church, but it's more does more actual charity. I'm not talking about just building buildings for the church and paying church.
Yeah.
I'm talking about actually helping people.
Mm-hmm.
They do more than the entire evangelical conference this one church does.
Wow. There's such difference between churches, right?
But and the Catholics do more too, but the Tampa Bay, just a couple communities of Muslims in Florida do better than than they do, and
Yeah.
it's such a smaller group.
Yeah.
But if people do the best with what they have, then see that's the thing.
Really? Is that so? Is that really so?
No. Well, I mean, they don't. People don't. If the whites or the Hispanics in particular, the Hispanics have lower crime rate and stuff to begin with. But if those communities did the best with what they had, they would be.
They would do a lot of change.
There'd be Hispanic supremacy or Black supremacy because they'd just be doing better as a group. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But if people think that they can if they can't be rich and famous as a musician or a music player, and they're told all the time that you got to be a gangster, you got to tolerate the gangs and stuff like this. It's like if they fall into that, then that's what they've chosen for themselves. But a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that it's like they dropped off their prejudice. They just realized I just got to do the best with what I can and forget all this stuff. It's not that I'm black or that I'm not black or something. I just got to do what I can. And that's what people, we have a Civil Rights Act in my country, so there's not allowed to be that prejudice. So people just got to admit that and just get on with their lives instead of talking about what happened hundreds of years ago, like it happened to you.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
And you can is my horn on this picture? Maybe it's off in the corner. Maybe I didn't have that. But see, I got this. I arranged this.
Yeah, back to the horn again. Yeah, tell me about it.
So I bought a moonstone horn. It was actually a pretty good price.
Moonstone horn. That's
so
show me that.
The membership. I'll tell you what you see here. The membership packet. When you order the membership packet, they send you this little cassette tape, which is which is really interesting. Just the look at the $11 or whatever the whole thing. Honestly, a lot of people would pay that for a novelty cassette tape that says hopefulness and cynicism on the other side, and You get
Mhm.
you know, candles with glitter and some little thing about a UFO that was sighted and a little thing. It varies a little bit which card you might get. Maybe a couple
Mhm.
stickers and a thing, and then they send you a little packet that says, "Here's your ritual for joining." And I did my own version. I didn't
Mhm.
say the thing. They like to say the spirit of uni because all this
The
specific
spirit of uni.
that
All right.
they say that instead of saying God because they think when people say God, people mean all sorts of things when they say God. So I understand
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
why if a person's a Jew, they might want to say Yahweh or Hashem, and if they're Muslim,
Yeah.
they want to say Allah. It's not that they don't mean God; it's that they want to make it clear that they mean God,
Uh-huh.
not who
Yeah, this
whatever,
dogmatic God or that dogmatic God.
whatever people are deciding to worship. But
Yeah.
so this you know, this you see the book is a separate purchase. The horn is a separate purchase, but
Oh, really?
but the membership packet, everything else, this picture that you see, except for the book, I
Mhm.
don't think there's anything here that's not part of the membership packet.
Okay.
I mean the pedestal that the whole thing's on, the cards and stuff. Um, okay,
Yeah.
virtual background. Which virtual background shows?
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I'm gonna. But crystals is obvious. Obviously, there's going to be something crystal related with this group.
Yeah, it sounds very crystal-like.
I just thought this was a neat thing, and
Yeah.
again, some sellers sell it for more. So
Yeah.
why not? I'm not
Yeah.
paying
Yeah.
for. I'm not paying for anybody
That's funny.
I'm not paying for anybody to do a blessing. I don't pay. I don't do ritual for hire. I don't pay for people to
Uh-huh.
tell me my future or uh,
Oh, yeah.
all sorts of other things. Um,
Yeah.
can we?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. Where were we? Crystals. Well,
Yeah.
everybody knows that there's different colors and there's different physical properties and stuff like that. I mean, actual physical
Mhm.
properties. Some are harder.
Oh, I'm very interested in crystal, so I'm happy we talk about this. I really want to know more about the subject, so.
Uh, I've started a path working.
Mhm.
The Grimorium Verum. There's a
Tell us
text.
about it.
There's a text
Yeah.
that's like the start of this thing.
Mhm.
I've started a series. It's not really it's like, as I'm saying, I'm not trying to make a pact with 50 different demons just because some book told me to.
No.
the
Yeah.
that's yes, that's really smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's this thing here? Well, I think maybe it uses more space whenever we do new
Is
graphics.
that your computer table there? You have those stuff on?
This is the table that I have the computer at. Yeah.
Cool table, I must say.
So I don't
Very occult.
I don't.
Looking.
Well, I'm obviously using the graphic as background, but this is my
Yeah.
graphic for my new series.
Oh wow! What the fuck? This looks very complex.
So
You look like you know what you're doing. That's for sure.
so I'm going to use a lot of different symbols and stuff, but it's basically sympathetic magic. So you use different herbs and stuff that has meaning and.
Oh, you're not gonna cast any magic upon me, I hope.
But this stone here, it's a bloodstone. You can't see too well. It's, you know, you got green and you got a little red in it.
Ah.
Sort of a jasper stone. But so every video in this series is going to have this stone, because
Okay.
the typical Grimorian Verum working, you carry around a bloodstone with you everywhere.
Okay.
All your operations, you carry around a bloodstone. So I figured, okay, I have this little bloodstone, and I thought I'm going to include this in every single operation. And
okay. All right. I gotcha. All right.
So there's certain some people, because of their now as I've said, I'm not.
Why is that stone chosen for this, by the way? what's so special with? Tell us a little about a bloodstone.
Well, bloodstone, obviously people think of, okay, it's marked with blood. So we
Yeah,
see,
that's what I thought.
now, obviously, I think there's some sort of menstrual connection with the whole Unicult thing. But I mean, certainly gets mentioned a lot. But somebody who considers herself a spiritual celebrity, you gotta expect the cycles of her life to be
Bloodstone related.
But the it's the meaning of stuff varies per culture. It's like
yeah, that's specifically true for crystals, I guess.
Whether something's which is really whether something's a name of an entity or whether it's the entity itself. Some people say we don't do this or we do this because of this. Subject matter. There's a stone. If you have a rock collection, you probably have a rock for every subject that you can think of. If you have a good set, but it's just like a lot of things. I've acquired my books and my rock collections and my arts that I've done over the years. The ones that I've kept, I've given away most stuff as gifts and stuff like that. But I've acquired that over years. I didn't just go out and spend $1,000 in a year on a crystal ball and all this stuff. I just
wow.
I do not recommend it. Anybody just ups and says, "Oh, I'm not paying tithing anymore. I'll pay it on. I'll get an expensive rock collection instantly, and it's going to have powers over me and stuff." And so, but there's a difference. There's faith. There's faith. So faith is where a lot of the power is. So if you have faith in a rock, that's one of the things. People are like,
and the mustard seed, you can move rocks, mountains, right?
Yeah. People look at stuff and say, "Oh, I am." It's like, okay, it's not like my faith in God anymore. My faith is in. So they act like the rock. It has power. They draw.
Okay.
They have a symbol. Oh well, I can see my hand moving across things now. They got a symbol, and they say, well, the symbol has, the symbol has some sort of power. And no, the power is in you. The power is in use. Talismanic, perhaps, but the holographic sticker. Which is the neater looking one to me.
The power's in you. Yeah, exactly.
But so people end up treating these things as gods. It's like people talk about spells.
You are the god. We are the god.
I generally don't like the word spell because it implies like, what? Now I'm going to say that this rock or these herbs are going to answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, either I'm going to pray to a transcendent God, or I'm going to realize that I am awakening powers within myself, or I'm going to do both at the same time. But I'm not going to say, I don't have the dragon's blood. I don't have the dragon's blood incense. I can't do this. I can't do this meditation.
Oh yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Dragon's blood is pretty cool and everything, but
yeah, it sounds cool.
It's an expensive incense. It's more expensive than frankincense, but
yeah, it sounds very expensive. Yeah,
it's not as expensive oud, but it's somewhere in between. It's something like $90 a pound or something nowadays. It used to be cheaper. When it was 20, it wasn't too bad, but
everything is getting more expensive, doesn't it?
You have your vessel. Let this represent like a cup or something. You have this vessel, and you heat it up, and the dragon's blood melts, and it looks like a pool of dark blood. That alone makes this stuff awesome.
Yeah. But by the way, I have a mouse in my little cabin here. It's knocking on the. I don't know if it's a woodpecker or a mouse that is. I got this funny animals around me, and I kind of like it. So. Anyway, continue.
Oh, that's one of the things people don't get. Neighbors are so loud here. They figure we're so far apart, we can just listen to music as loud as we can possibly stand it, or shoot guns in the middle of the night. And it's like, dude, sometimes people need. But one of the great things, wherever I live, it seems to be the case that in summer. People don't go to sleep in the middle of night anywhere near as well as they do in winter. If dusk is 7 o'clock, everybody's quiet. You can go to sleep. But if it got to 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
no, people aren't quiet yet. People are just starting to be quiet now.
Oh, okay.
So when the night's nice and long, people are pretty good about just being quiet at night. But it's not as or being quiet even in the evening, so you can kind of wind down.
Okay.
Now in the middle of the day, whatever, shoot your gun, shoot your cannon,
Yeah.
rev your chainsaw, drive around in your motorbike, whatever. But
Yeah.
at night, that's things are kind of different.
Yeah, I agree on you on that point. That's how it should be.
But one of the things that people, it's like people are like, oh, the owls are this year, the owls are really hooting more. And it used to the most years that I've been here, the first 3 years I was in this location, it was like, the owls didn't really make much of an appearance before October, November, and the rest of the year they're kind of like,
Wow, really?
But this year it's been like all year, and I think it's because we had such a warm year, like the warmest winter on record. Everything abnormal during winter, abnormally warm. It only got down to 25 degrees, which is probably allowed a lot of bugs and mice and stuff to live that would have died.
Okay. Now I saw how you got into the subject. Talking of mouses. By the way, have I ever told you that I have, maybe you can help me with this. Maybe your knowledge, I think you're the right person to ask, finally. I have these 3, I've been homeless for many years and I've been sleeping here and there in town, and it's like wherever I turn up to sleep, there's these 3 brown rabbits popping up wherever I go. It's like they're following me. They've been following me for years. 3 brown rabbits. And I saw one of them again a couple of days ago. So I know that they've been following me for years. What do you think that represents? 3 brown rabbits or hares following me everywhere. Could you help me with this? Are those my totem animals, or what's going on here?
Well, if you're talking about something non-physical, it depends on how you think of hares. If you think of as of them some pest in your garden trying to steal your carrots, that's
no,
a little different than cute little woodland animals. Like I talked about. I talked about this card.
Yeah.
So, what I don't like, tarot is supposed to be meaningful. And tarot's as you saw from the one graphic.
Yeah, I think
tarot,
I know what you
tarot. She used to charge for tarot readings. I'm not sure if she still does or what the deal is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Again, I'm not paying for anybody to see my unseen or
no, that's a wise choice. Yeah.
But if I would have to move something real quick or something. But I wouldn't mind ending this in a getting out a deck of cards and
yeah.
But the deck, it's based on a structure of meaning. So many of these decks are now art decks.
Meaningless nowadays,
and they remove so much of the meaning, or they
exactly
deliberately try to do something else. It's like the variety of bodies, and it's like, okay, some women are big, some women are thick, whatever. Having a variety in the deck, because a lot. It's like every other tarot video, it seems like some woman's saying, "Oh, a woman that thin has got to be like a teenager. Why can't they have an older woman in that spot?" It's like,
it's like boxed in.
You got to if you're going to represent themes by difference, and you want the whole variety of life, sometimes sometimes you got to have a thin young woman, sometimes a thick old woman, sometimes a thick young woman. Whatever you're gonna have a variety. It's like I used to tease my brother. I used to tell my brother jokingly, but seriously, if I found the right women, I'd marry a few. I'd have no issue with that. But I kept telling my brother, it's like, I'm allowed to marry 4 women. So a blonde, a brunette, a redhead, head woman. You know, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Now I'm not. It doesn't have to be that way, but you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn it away if that was the thing. You know,
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
the tarot is sort of the same thing. You want different
Mm-hmm.
hair colors. Want different skin colors. You want different this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Aleister Crowley on his lover's card and on his devil's card. He had different races. That's just how it was. And I was like, why can't a black person be in this world? A white person is this? Like, it's like, well,
Yeah.
there's a
New
variety.
age stupidity.
Like now they're advertising on the TV. It's like, it's not that it's good for America or something like this. It's like, oh, we specifically drawn out black businesses. Oh, that's interesting. What is this?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what's going on in the corner of my graphic. I honestly don't. I'm not doing anything different with the thing, and the light's not seeming to be different.
Yeah.
You notice that corner of black on the screen. There's nothing changed to make that happen. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
But yeah, well, you said do you have any favorite crystals, or you just know people like to use quartz?
You know, it's funny to mention because I looked into crystals. I interested myself in crystals about 2 months ago, actually, and it was because I asked myself the question, you know, do crystals help with warding off bad dreams? Because I've been attacked in my dreams when I go to sleep, you know. I guess that's how my interest in crystals started. So I started to research it, and then I came across information on summitlighthouse.com, and that's the organization that I left, which was the worst New Age organization ever. And they said something interesting. Her name was Elizabeth Clare Prophet from Summit Lighthouse. And she basically, you know, channels Christ consciousness and, you know, Saint Germain and all these ascended masters. She's like the number one guru in the world for the number one representative of the so-called ascended masters and Christ consciousness.
Well, does she claim that for herself? Because ever since that one guy came back from Tibet with a pseudo book about ascended masters, it's been kind of like this ever since like the 19th. H.P. Blavatsky and all these other people. Ever since then, it's been
Yeah, I don't know how much self-appointed she is on that, but she's anyway considered to be the contemporary sort of representative of the whole New Age ascended master.
But it's like orgone. Orgone's basically just some hardened substance with whatever. So you don't know. A lot of it's toxic, and a lot of it's been banned. Some areas have even passed laws because people end up making toxic orgone, and it's like it's basically just like some fake raw. Some of them are pretty interesting looking. With like, okay, you've made a pyramid, like a resin pyramid or something like that, but it's not quite resin. And you put rocks in it and twist of copper and other stuff. So it's pretty interesting looking, but the physical claims are largely proven wrong with the crystals. If you get a piece of shungite, it's not going to destroy the radiation from the electronic devices. If you're relying on some piece of shungite from your neck, which is mostly a carbon. The interesting thing that happened, you noticed I moved my hand into the corner when there was a little triangle thing, and after I moved my hand in it, it went away. So I don't know
what went away.
In this corner right here where my hand is, if you remember, there was like this triangle of dark, and I don't know what in the world it was, but it appeared at some point. But after I moved my hand into this earlier in the conversation, it went away. So
what? Really?
Sometimes the camera zooms in and out, and I don't know what it's doing some of the time.
You have ghosts there, or what's?
It's a technology thing, just like as I'm telling you with the. Now, just like I'm telling you with the The camera will zoom in and out and stuff like this, which means that I have to be very careful which angle I have the camera at. So that's
Okay.
why you're not. I'd like to be sitting in front of the in front of the flags and stuff like this. This particular camera will not reach there.
Okay.
It
Oh,
shows
by the way, I
things
just
to us.
wanted to mention, I forgot to mention that this Elizabeth Clare Prophet with the crystal, she said that that it was the Elohim that created the crystals, that the angels and the Elohim were the authors of these crystals on the earth. What's your thought on that? Is that like they hijacked that and claimed it to be their own, or what do you think? Who created crystals and
Well,
and for
if
what
there's a God,
purpose?
if there's a God of the earth that created the earth or something, you got to say. I mean, it's got to be
Yeah, of
God that
course.
created the earth. But the properties, a lot of that's the priests have developed systems of things. Like something happens with one thing or another, or it gets attached.
Hmm.
Ideas about, oh, this crystal's for the heart chakra, this crystal's for Leah, or this crystal's
Yeah.
so there's different systems like that, and that has more to do with it than anything. The biblical
Okay.
the biblical system of the tribes, and each tribe has its own crystal and that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. It's more about the historical connection that was supposedly existing amongst that stone than
Yeah.
uh, the stuff that some of the Jews are doing with the temple. They try to make it
Yeah.
stricter and stricter. There's traditions of symbols.
Yeah.
There's traditions of symbols of what to do. Now, you know, what people get into with this group is there's a lot more, but let me show you an
Mhm.
example of
Yeah.
some of the, I know this uses space each time we do it, but I guess we're
Hmm.
fine with that.
Yeah.
But like for example, with that meme,
Yeah.
there are symbols, and I'm sure you may recognize some of those symbols there, that
Yeah.
these symbols are traditional Solomonic symbols. And
Yep. I recognize that. Yeah.
the symbols there, and this is another example of Solomonic stuff, but the symbols are something that there's
Hmm.
traditions. So
Hmm.
the Solomonic temple biblically, and a Jewish tradition, aside
Hmm.
from the Bible,
Hmm.
there's certain herbs, there's certain stuff you got to do with gold and symbols and stuff like this. It's all
Wow.
animals and stuff. So there's a lot of information about what to do with the temple, and some of it is technologically related. Like quartz
Uh-huh.
is quartz, for example.
Wow. This is interesting.
Quartz is something that can be good for storing information. Back in
Hmm.
the 1990s, the information came out that the government
Hmm.
was the government had something, like a centimeter by a centimeter by a centimeter, right? And it
Uh-huh.
could store like a trillion bits. And nowadays, we're finally to the point where
Uh-huh.
terabyte drives are available to the public. You can go buy this. This is only a 4 gigabyte drive, so this is not a good example. I don't have a terabyte drive, but you can
Okay.
buy
Yeah.
pretty cheaply, cheaper than you even used to be able to buy a 3.5 floppy. When I was a really little kid, people didn't have computers, and a floppy could cost, you
Hmm.
could end up paying $5-10 for because not everybody had the 5.5 3.5 floppy. And
Okay.
so some of this stuff you could spend, when you bought a video game on, you were spending like
Hmm.
but that's so you can afford a terabyte drive, and the government
Hmm.
had this stuff back in the 90s. So the government's but
Oh shit! Really?
part of the stuff is they have crystals. They have crystals that store like 256 terabytes, and you got some
What?
little thing like the size of a big old quarter, or
Now it's getting
or something.
interesting.
And the
All
amount of
right.
information that can be stored, crystals is
What?
largely where it's at.
And it's mostly, what's the name of the crystal again that is used for making chips? Um, it's silica, or what was the name again? Quartz crystal.
Different things can be used. It's like gold. Gold is not really all that useful except for electronics and looking pretty and pounding smooth and being something to cover. But so a lot of this stuff, just like the rituals, it's like there's not too much. It's like I am surprised. I'm not on their format.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I've moved something. I'm trying to. Okay. When I knocked, I heard a click of some sort. I want to make sure I didn't accidentally break something, and like it would have mattered.
Okay.
But it's like what they say about rituals. It's like, okay, figure out some ritual to do, but it doesn't give you too much direction. It's a lot of stuff is open-ended. Look into crystals, and there's a lot of resources.
I've always wondered what relationship crystals have to the occult. That's been a question on my mind, actually.
Whatever people want. It's like if you use any object, if this stone, if I as a Karcist or demon devotee instead of what I am, I would say, then people would be trying to trap demons in crystals and all sorts of stuff. And
what? Can you trap demons in crystals?
I don't think you can trap them, but you can.
No, okay. Oh shit! Wow.
The jinn, the daba, fire beings, whatever you want to call it, fairies, whatever. People say fairies, but honestly, a lot of if you look into fairy stories for what they are, the fairy stories a lot of them are kind of dark. So they're not always. It's not super fluffy. It's not Joel Osteen territory here.
Okay. Yeah.
And like earlier, that's why Lovecraft's important, because it gets you into that responding that the fear and all that stuff that in your life that maybe you just ignore. And that there's mysteries behind. It's like you could think this is a regular church leader, but it turns out that he's off doing human sacrifice off to the side or something. Like who was that saint? Was it in Italy? They found out that one of the saints had written in his journal that he had abused and killed like 180 something kids, and like some.
What the fuck?
In side rituals that he was doing.
Shit, motherfucker. Yeah.
But they found his journal in the church wall or something, and like the dude was declared a saint.
What? That's fucking interesting.
So so sometimes people have this side thing, and Lovecraft kind of hinted at some of that by saying that sometimes the village church, there's another side to these people,
Yeah.
And
wow, shit. But as much we don't know what's going on in the world, that's for sure.
Unicole Unicron does mention you have this. It's like in rituals you enact. You mentioned what you believe in, like your own cosmology. It's like, for example, I've done cosmological rituals, like that last night was one, but that doesn't mean that, for example, the Kabbalah, just like Ra. Your own inner pathways and stuff. You can talk with demons if you want, or connect them to that. But you don't have to. You don't have to try to summon some angels or whatnot. You can clear out your pathways. And
that's nice to hear. I don't want to summon any angels. That's for sure.
You can mention and stuff like that. And I don't think, honestly, if you look at most of the mythologies, the light beings, they're not there to obey you. They're not there. They're not there to. They don't. They have their own purpose. So that's.
Yeah.
So you try to worship them, and then some demon comes in. It's like, oh, I heard you want this. You got your own inner pathways. So just like but if you admit that there's an existence, it's like, okay, well, Atlantis. I'm not sure. Atlantis is a story. Atlantis, of course, they're talking about Atlantis. I'm surprised. Surprised. I've never noticed her talk about Lemuria being in California and everything. Well, I mean, it's not I can mention that she's in California because it's not a secret that she's in California, or most of the time, but because some of her you know, well, she's mentioned that she lives in California. That she doesn't mention exactly.
Okay.
But the Lemuria is another one of those lost continent myths. So there's something that says, but Atlantis, you know where Atlantis is according to the Africans?
Nope. Tell me.
The Eye of the Sahara was the center of Atlantis. The Berber territory, the Berbers say that back thousands of years ago, they were led by a leader called Atlantis, and the city was named after them. And it turns out that the description of Plato matches this Eye of the Sahara. So it wasn't some sunken city; it was some dried up place that the water used to come in.
Oh, and shit!
The Sahara dried, and the culture that was there's ancestry, resources, all sorts of stuff that shows that it was a culture that stretched across the north of Africa. And what happened is that the Sahara went away. Ended up with what you call the Dogon culture and the Sudanese culture, which made its way northeast, and then you ended up with the ancient Egyptian culture. And in some ways, things degraded along the way, and in some ways, whatever. And now we're kind of bouncing back and trying to figure out some of that. But that's what Atlantis is. So the Egyptians, he came up with his own thing. Poseidon didn't mean that it was the sea. It meant something, it meant something else. But
really?
So they turned it into a Greek story, and we don't realize that they knew. The ancient Egyptians knew where they came from, and the Sudanese people they
did really
kind of they said their culture came from the southwest. And the ancient Egyptians, some of the
now I'm hearing that helicopter. It's the targeted individual bullshit going on. No, just joking. Anyway, go on.
So Atlantis is one thing they mentioned, but they mention it like an undersea world. So, fairyland, dream world, the astral plane, which that graphic that I showed earlier.
Now it's getting interesting. I've heard about the connection of Atlantis with the astral.
So, you notice the question I asked on the side of my Ekankar graphic here. Are the remaining only psychological? And the astral plane is where this group says that all that UFO stuff,
that's exactly what Summit Lighthouse said as well. That they said that the astral and the UFO, they're connected, and that's all Satan's work. We need to not focus on UFOs. Do they say the same bullshit here?
No. Actually, she's more in favor of the aliens, although she admits that they may not be all.
Okay.
But
so this particular group is favoring the aliens.
But the thing is, she believes that she's from Arcturus, and you know what that means, right? If somebody says they're Arcturian, that means Arcturian. Arcturus is the bear, so the bear master. So saying you're an Arcturus, she's basically saying I'm circus people. I'm circus people. Her life is a circus, and she doesn't even realize that's what she's saying by saying I'm Arcturus.
She's not even realizing. Okay. That's funny.
Meeting places in galactical centers, and I've like the Order of Nine, not
that fucking group,
not the Sinisters, but it's like I've figured this out better. It's like, okay, why are you telling me the pathways, but you're not
now the fucking helicopter is coming back. It's like it's monitoring us or something. I don't know. But anyway,
that there looks like some alien writing, It's not, but it's rearranged. They tell you in the Order of Nine Angle stuff which
there,
sun, moon to sun, so you have which ones in between which ones, but they don't line up with their listing of the tarot. They don't. So
okay.
But in those spirit realms there, one of the things is that these beings have choice too. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna involve yourself in those,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, okay, I
Yeah.
understand part of why people are Karcist. Heal
Mm-hmm.
evil is one of the things they get into. So they definitely have that phrase, heal evil. So
Heal evil. All right.
you can mention those things, and so you're addressing yourself. It's like, why? Here are these pathways, and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of demons that people say are associated with those pathways.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so what am I going to do about it? Am I going to admit, okay, this is where these things can have an influence? And once you admit
Mm-hmm.
that this could be the thing, then you can maybe deal with those things rather than,
Yeah.
because
I'm just gonna remove my phone from the charger and put myself in a more comfortable position. Oh shit. Yeah. Go ahead.
but we have, here's the one that doesn't have a thing.
Oh, that's better. Oh fuck yeah. Now I'm more comfortable. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and yeah. By the way, anybody else, if you, no, I've been operating these as sort of like a hangout. It's like whatever. But anybody wants to go through these in like half an hour, or 15 or 20 minutes or something, that probably can be arranged too. What was I saying? So the beings
Yeah.
have you mentioned stuff. It's like if you
Mm-hmm.
mention that you believe, like say you believe in 7 heavens, 7
Mm-hmm.
hells, seven
Mm-hmm.
seven worldly places, 7
That's kind of a boring
skies.
belief system, actually.
What?
Oh, do you hear the helicopter? Oh shit! There's definitely a helicopter above me right now, monitoring me, and I felt like my energy dropped in a way, like I was being attacked or something.
Well, there could be something political going on in their area. It's like when the president comes to my state,
Yeah.
there's more helicopter activity on those days than other days,
Really?
and it's like that. It seems like it's always the case. It's like what all sorts of helicopters now. What do they survey the whole? They survey things to see if anything's going on with the state when
Yeah.
you know.
You
Because
know,
they watch you from the sky. It's like, hey, I want.
yeah.
What if I want to be naked in my backyard in the evening? I think it's my right not to have some not
Helicopter.
to risk showing up on Google Earth.
Yeah.
It's the wrong night,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes when these helicopters, I really felt like something was beaming me right now. I'm not joking. Like, I felt like my energy dropped by about like 25% because my energy has been so high lately. And I think I'm being a target because whenever your energy is getting too high, they can sense that. And then they send some agents of the matrix to like boom you with some low vibrational stuff, so you get back on the earth again, or some shit like that. I'm feeling like that's kind of what they're doing. But
well, typically the harmful frequencies, as I said, the ones that you don't that you can be
yeah,
overwhelmed with easier is not the
yeah,
stuff that brings you down more relaxed. It's the stuff that some of that gamma
hmm,
radiation and stuff like this. Yes, you do want to be
yeah,
involved in gamma theta state and stuff like this, and other
hmm,
states like that.
yeah, yeah,
But you don't actually become that state. You're just responding to some of those frequencies. But if you get too much of
yeah,
this stuff, like all this radiation and stuff, uh,
hmm,
it's like literally, it's like if you get a test done with radiation, one of those tests at the doctor with radiation, they're like, oh,
yeah.
it's just like flying back and forth across the country 5 times. It's like,
Okay.
so you're telling me that if I take a plane flight, or if
Yeah.
or if I'm in an area where helicopters fly over enough, I'm going to start getting radiation like that.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
well, not all at once, but yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Or maybe it's just placebo. I don't know. I don't know if that was just
there's a lot.
placebo, but time will tell. Time will tell.
Um,
if I was actually beamed by something here.
uh, but
I
yeah,
don't want to be
but yeah,
delusional about it, but
you got issues. So I mean, it's like, for example,
yeah.
you start thinking healing evil isn't just entities. You can
Hmm.
say healing evil's like maybe you got
Hmm.
issues and you got to figure out what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the tarot, the devil card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Hmm.
devil card isn't that. It's that you just got to figure out what's evil and ignorance, and where you can have that stuff outside of evil and ignorance. Like,
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I met somebody, and
Uh-huh.
this person, let's, maybe
Mm-hmm.
we may she may appear on this channel at some point, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I met
Mm-hmm.
I met somebody, and I told her
Yeah.
I analyzed her, I watched her, I listened to her, I analyzed her, and try to,
Yeah.
and I basically told her 2 drugs that she could never ever try, or else it's going to
Okay. And
eventually
those are.
heroin and meth. And I was definitely
Yeah.
right about both of those
I
things.
definitely agree with you on that one.
Because one I already knew she was willing to do adulterated. If she was willing to smoke and use inhalants and stuff like this, she was willing to use
Hmm.
adulterated drugs. You know that right off.
Okay. Yeah.
So the
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, she's really done a number of smoking's done a number on her too, but not like the other 2.
Okay.
But yeah, I was definitely right about that. But
Yeah.
I sat with her. I sat with her in that clearing that I show in the one video, and I
Hmm.
meditated with the 12th Enochian key with her.
Hmm.
That's what she needs.
Oh shit.
She doesn't need drugs. She just needs to be able to sit down for 20 minutes a day and do a good meditation. That's all I think.
Oh, it was that simple all along.
Um,
You
and
complicated it kind of much.
every so many years, I can get her to the point, and honestly, for days,
Wow.
even she'll drop off. It's like, oh, I don't even need pills anymore.
What? Really?
But
Wow.
but people don't want that. They don't want her to eat healthy. They don't want her to
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
they want her out of jail. They don't want her
Yeah.
robbing anybody or anything. But
Yeah.
they
Oh.
she is so lucky she's not in prison. If the police did a better job, she'd still be in prison right now. But
Mhm.
even for stuff done 10 years ago. But
Oh shit. She's been kind of lucky, you could say.
well,
In that
actually, I don't
sense.
think lucky, because she's real herself. She's done a number on herself.
Oh yeah. More
This,
unlucky, I would say. Yeah. Hmm.
it went to be the adulterants in the drugs alone might kill
Hmm.
her by the end of the if she
Yeah.
doesn't overdose or get super
Just luck in the unluck, you could say.
she's
Yeah.
I don't expect her to make it through you know
Yeah.
you know
Hmm.
not she doesn't have too many years left. She's destroyed half her life already, at
Oh
least.
shit.
But
Yeah.
anyways, you find
Yeah.
out what you need. You figure,
Hmm.
okay, I have this earth. It's like I've stepped forward and protected people before and
Hmm.
during the fact, after the fact. I've taken action, and
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
that again points out to me, hey, some of the police not only do their job, but they're like good people. They're like, okay, we understand the situation.
Mm.
No one. It's like, uh,
Hmm.
you found out this guy did this stuff. We'll just arrest him for this stuff, and we'll ignore the fact that you kind of roughed him up
Yeah.
on the way in. But
Hmm.
some police are, if things aren't on video, they're
Hmm.
a lot of the police would be like, okay, yeah, well, we'll just let that slide. The guy doesn't want to press charges.
Yeah.
He knows he kind of. Because
Hmm.
I don't know if that guy would have gone off and just committed another crime that day if I
Mm.
didn't do something. And
Yeah.
I didn't really plan on. It's just things just happen. But anyways.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, we have it's just like I said with my that Egyptian meme, is that
Yeah.
this is an entity. Not only can he bring humor to the situation, which is what we need.
Yeah. Definitely.
You don't have to be politically correct. Whoever you offend, whatever, it doesn't even
Yeah.
necessarily mean someone's going to get offended at everything.
Exactly. And what's the name of this god again? This Egyptian god.
Bass and Basset. So the
Yeah, Bass and Basset. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
yeah, this one here. So this
Yeah.
one here is going up election day, because I think
Okay.
Every year I do an Egyptian political, and this is the one where.
Oh, there he is. Oh, every year. Yeah, you told me that. Yes, yes, yes. Now I'm updated again. Okay, yeah.
So Abe Shim.
Humor entering. Defender of actual good. Mm-hmm. And humor, that is actual goodness right there.
All these people telling it's like that's the difference. There is
Yeah.
reality. There is spiritual realities that maybe, and even psychic realities that maybe you can't prove to everybody else, and maybe you can't disprove. So whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And but the thing about that is it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but actual good. It's like people convince themselves of all sorts of things.
Yeah, they do.
They're trying. There's people that are pushing for the legalization of child molestation, even forceful molestation.
Yeah, they do all kinds of things. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
And you know, it gets that bad of what people are trying to say, or people are like, oh, just excuse them because they're soldiers. It's like, I think soldiers need to be held accountable too.
Yeah.
You know, soldiers are supposed to be, you know, striving for what's right.
They're the boxing in life more and more and more every year with this intolerance bullshit and being, you know, oversensitive about everything.
And now they're like, it's like I liked Ren and Stimpy. It's like
Ren and Stimpy. Okay.
So
who's that?
The guy who came up with Ren and Stimpy, like it's a cat and dog cartoon, and it's really the best thing that Nickelodeon ever did, I think. And then after Ren and Stimpy was pulled from circulation, they I mean after they stopped the series, they started on all this. It's like, what, Ren and Stimpy was too far, and then SpongeBob does just as bad.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
So, but
Darkwing Duck in Sweden.
but they don't. They don't. A lot of it is, it's like, so what? They had potty humor and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And obviously it was a male female relation. Well, sometimes you did. It's a cartoon character. Who knows what Stimpy is? Stimpy going to be male here? Or,
oh, now the fucking helicopter's coming again. Shit.
But anyways,
they're above me right now again.
They said, okay, whether dude had some girlfriends, so they're going to pull a series. It's not like he attacked anyone. He didn't attack anyone. He wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So whether you agree with what he did or not having the series again because you're saying, oh, people are going to be paying attention to Ren and Stimpy again. It's like, are you kidding me?
Come on, give me a break. Like, yeah.
As long as Family Guy is on the air.
Yeah. Oh shit! Talk about hypocrisy again.
Or even replay. It's like you have no grounds on anything. That's. But unconditional love, it's like. Okay.
Yeah, that's a topic I'm very passionate about.
So that's obviously a thing. It's like.
Yeah. What do you think about unconditional love?
I think it exists, but the thing is that sometimes you need to be. You need to get yourself away. It's like you can be like, say you can. It doesn't question the idea that you're in love, like for example. Yeah. But sometimes you got to leave that abusive person and never get in their presence again.
Yep.
And I proved that right.
And that can be unconditional love. For yourself. Yeah.
Somebody that was my home was either broken into or attempted to be broken into 3 years in a row by the same person. The police wouldn't deal with it because they removed police accountability. But it's like, okay, fine. I love the individual, but I don't want them. Can you make it part of her parole that she never contacts me again?
Yeah. No, you're not loving her enough. You're putting healthy boundaries. That's not love. You need to turn the other cheek and let her abuse you for the rest of your life.
and
yeah,
I mean, even if it was something as simple as bringing home potential, it's like you're going to use needle drugs and other issues that are worse behaviors than that. The rate of HIV and stuff like this is super high. You don't want to live with someone like that if you don't.
Yeah.
that alone, it's like whatever, you want what's good for this person, but you also don't want to die, and it's not doing any favors.
Nope.
I'm going to be with you, I'm going to support you in everything, no matter what. And it's like,
Yeah.
first of all, you don't have to support them in what you don't agree with, particularly what you think is
exactly
wrong. And
yeah.
second of all,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they need that
Yeah.
non-support in those things, or they don't have a chance. If you're going to if you're going to be so approving of whatever is wrong in their life, you're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just how
And
it
that
is.
makes sense.
But most of things, it's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't even unconditional love isn't necessarily even something that's chosen. It can be, but
yeah, if you choose it, how can it be love? Love can, it's like, you eating a piece of chocolate. Can you choose that it doesn't taste good? No. Or if you smell a rose, can you choose that it's not pleasant smell? No. If somebody puts a pile of poop in front of you, you can't choose that doesn't taste horrible, because every cell of your body will tell you that this is not tasting or smelling well.
now
And it's the same with unconditional love. It's like, sure, one of my greatest gurus, he said, you may not have realized it, but the number one thing that has killed love is all the teachings about love. Right? Because if you make love into a teaching, if you make it into a choice, you already destroyed it there and then. You've taken something that is spontaneous and authentic, and you made it into a mind thing, a teaching. And that's kind of what I'm speaking about in my videos about unconditional love there. So, yeah.
there is there's love as a noun and love as a verb, but yeah, so some of this stuff, it's like, yeah, that automatically you just, no matter what, and all this stuff, it's like sometimes you find yourself in that situation that, yeah. And other times it's just like, okay, you love that. There's different, like, for example, I talk about people getting married for 4 different reasons, and 3 of those reasons, even if it gets better, the feeling starts to drop in 4.5 years or less. It's just there's a chemical thing that happens, and if you don't have that character, if you don't love them for the character or some aspect of their character that keeps the whole thing going, that's it. You meet this woman when you're 23, and when you're 25, she gets her first wrinkle, and you're like, I got to move on. Or maybe you like something better about it. Maybe, hopefully you weren't just with her because she had no wrinkles. But are there some status or wealth or something, a thing like that going on there? Or
it's
Are
multidimensional, like everything else in life.
Or you can have what?
Yeah, it's multidimensional, like everything else in life, right? Love. It's not one thing. It's like
and a character. It's like sometimes people change character traits, and if the wrong thing changes, that's it. It's like and I totally understand. Like, for example, once your spouse commits adultery, it's like that was enough of a straw to draw the thing. At pretty much anything else that was wrong with them, that could have kept things along. But it's like that's it. That's really enough of. I liked how they were faithful and put me first and all that stuff. And then I turned out was like, what? It's like, oh well, whores don't expect me to spend 2 hours with hang out with them all afternoon. So that's like I think that was the theme of the TV show. There was a TV show, Filthy Rich, preacher. His wife wanted to spend time with us. Oh, I'll spend time with you when I get back. And he just wanted but he just wanted some quickies with prostitutes he didn't want to spend all that time on a relationship. So
it's situational. Love is a situational thing as well.
And the wife knew about him cheating, but it's like, oh, as long as he doesn't have kids. And in real life, you do that stuff too. And it's like, are you kidding me? One time can be kids or a disease or whatever the consequences are. One time can be it. So you got to accept that that's a possibility. Whatever. The condom. Using all the protection that you think you can get muster, but you may not even know. It's just, you know. But
Yeah.
a pregnancy. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I was okay with it. I loved it, and I put up with it. And
Yeah. I mean, it's an individual. Love is an individual thing. It's a situational thing. It's a cultural thing. There's so many different dimensions to love. So how the fuck did they think when they even made a teaching out of it? What do you think is the point of turning love into a teaching? Has it done anything to increase love in the world, or what's your thoughts on it?
Overall, I think it's made it worse. I think it's clear it's made it worse.
Thank you.
particularly since they've said, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Some of this love one another stuff seems quite hateful, and it doesn't really.
It sounds like hippie bullshit to me.
It doesn't sound practical, and it's like sometimes.
Yeah, doesn't it? It sounds fucking hateful, right? Right. It's like it's like dishonest hate. That's what I would put it, like dishonest hate.
And some of the doctrines too. It's like, okay, salvation here is related to the whole being in harmony with technology.
Yeah, being in harmony, right?
Having your technology, maybe putting it in your spiritual thing, being creative rather than just being a consumer. You got to be a creative and that sort of thing. But which does make sense more than this. Salvation relies on someone. It's like, loved you so much. God so loved the world that He sent His only Son. But wait. What? What about your son? If God had a son, instead of forgiving people, like the Old Testament days, that people used to be forgiven if they maybe they had to pray or sacrifice or something, or do what they could to make up for the wrong they did, but or try to better themselves. But you're going to kill your son in order that you can forgive people.
Oh yes.
So you love the world, but not your son.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Never thought about it that way. It's like, okay, it's like the message. Okay, look at what I'm doing to my son. That's my example of my love for you too. And you're like, okay, if that's the example of your love towards me as well, then no thanks. You know.
So that's one point that they have that this group has is they have a salvation that you can enact with rather than just vicariously rely on.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to give them props when it comes to that. Is that, and the fact that, hey, you don't. It's like your video where you talk about money, and here we have the natural. So you can go along with herbs and plants, and basically they said, I'm sure they're like, okay, they're kind of like you are in American schools. They're like, sexually, when it comes to drugs, try whatever you like. Realize there's some possible health effects, but try whatever you like. Just stay legal. Just stay legal. And I think
exactly. I could agree on that.
Of Unicult is that do what you want, do what you want with those things. Just stay within the legal boundaries.
I could agree on that. That's kind of good advice.
It's risky because if you buy a joint or a mushroom or something like this, it could be legal in one state or even county.
Yeah, exactly.
And you go to the next one, and they're trying to give you years in prison because they have space in the prison, and you've got a possession charge. Because you can get up to 5 years for possession, but you can rape someone, and they're like, "Oh, the jails are pretty full. We're going to give you."
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we'll give you a suspended sentence, so as long as we don't catch you with it again. It's like, are you? No. And they wonder why there's so many. Why there's actually a lot of vigilante killings in my country.
Yeah.
Part of it's because they used to have the death penalty, and people used to be afraid of committing some of the worst, rather than they get a tattoo and their gang accepts them for being tougher because they've committed this crime. It's like, oh, I've killed 5 people. Look at my tattoo right here. And so in prison, they're like, oh crap, we can't mess with this dude, because if we do get the upper hand and he survives, he's going to come back around.
Oh yeah.
So
oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
same thing.
Whew, I mean,
What?
Life ain't easy on that point. I've been trying some. Talking of herbs, I can recommend one herb for you, which is completely changed my life. Like I feel like I'm having like 150% more energy than I've ever had in my entire life. I'm noticing this with you when I'm speaking to you right now on this transmission here. Like I've never had this much energy, and I've tried thousands of different things. I've been buying thousands of different supplements, and let me tell you, there's only one supplement that I've actually felt an energy boost, and it's a big energy boost of that. And what I recommend is, whenever you got money, it costs about $80 or so. Mind Lab Pro, baby. That is it contains, for example, lion's mane mushroom, which, it protects the brain cells. It makes the cells in the brain communicate better. There's so many health effects of that. And, there's, for example, pine bark extract, which is very good for the brain. And, you need to check out Mind Lab Pro. And I bought another one that I'm going to get from the post in a couple of days. And that's even better than Mind Lab Pro. And I'm looking forward to it. It's called Qualia Mind. So I've been trying for 1 month Mind Lab Pro, and I'm feeling so much better.
I think earlier in the I think earlier in the conversation you didn't say that name fully, and or maybe I didn't notice it fully, and I thought you were saying something like Quaaludes or something like that. And I'm like,
okay,
I want to let this one pass. It's not an important issue. So you're talking about some supplement, and back in the day. The earliest inhabitants of
Have you tried any powerful supplements that you could recommend, or are you into supplementation?
Well, not that price certainly, but I use different herbs and stuff, but largely it's because back in the day people used to use a lot of plants. You talk to the Palestinians, and they know what weeds in the sidewalk that you can eat, and I mean, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them can just wander around. It's like, oh, and you use this plant and this plant, and it helps you make yogurt. And so you take the stem of this and you dip it in there, and it helps you make yogurt. Okay.
And that's the whole point of this thing I'm talking about here, Mind Lab Pro,
or somewhere around Peru, somewhere in that region, was the earliest agreed upon. Now there's 400,000 remains that aren't universally agreed upon. I think it's just a scholarly culture thing that they don't want to change their way of thinking. It's like, okay, 40,000 years ago, I understand that, but like also, that 10,000 year period in Peru. But these people ate like,
it's not a waste, right?
These people ate like 60 different plants. So many parts of the world, people didn't eat like a handful of foods.
That's what I mean.
They ate like 20, 30 more types of food than than a lot of people eat. And that they got all these micronutrients and all sorts of stuff. It's like they knew what small portions they could eat. It's like I have juniper berries. And you can't have too many.
Oh, that's a good thing.
At once, but if you have one a day, so you find a place that's not sprayed, and you go have a juniper gather, so you can have a juniper berry every day, and it's that saves you a lot of potential problem, and it can help you. Now, if that's another thing, some of the stuff that if you have a higher dose because you're trying to cure some kidney issue or something like this, then you drop off. Then you drop off because you need to give yourself a break. But you
Hmm.
cure yourself. So people knew that back in the day. Hawthorn
Hmm.
berries, just a hawthorn berry or two a day can be better for
Oh, hawthorn, that's a good thing as well. Yeah.
for better for headaches,
Yeah.
and if people have blood pressure, other blood
Yeah.
pressure issues or something like that, it can be better than what they're prescribing you.
You know, the way I'm seeing herbs is that you have to ask yourself before you take herbs, what's the purpose of you taking them? And for me, I'm not into veganism and vegan lifestyles. I think it's stupid that you're not enjoying yourself, like enjoying life, enjoying meat, enjoying sugar. Like people believe that they have to remove the good things in life in order to receive something. That's fucking stupid.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
I
like,
believe.
okay, maybe we don't want to have things weighed down
Yeah.
with sugar and salt all the time, but having a
Hmm.
little here and there isn't going to hurt you too much. People have
Yeah,
diabetes
but I mean, you
because
can
they.
have it all if you really know that. For example, the MindLab Pro that I'm taking, it's actually increasing my appetite. Like I'm getting more. I eat. I can eat less and get more of the taste from it. For example, like we need to think in those bigger terms. Like how can herbs, uh, be used to enhance our life experience? It can even make us eat less. Just enjoy smaller amounts of food, and so I think that you need to ask yourself what the purpose is before. I think that
Oh, so much
I'm
of
not.
things is what you do with it. It's like there's a
Yeah.
variety. It used to be
Yeah.
as a poor person who can't really afford to eat to just gorge myself and whatnot all the time, anyways, which I shouldn't be doing. People shouldn't be doing in the first place. But
Yeah.
the I eat different times a year based on based on what plants are out and what's
That's the best thing to do. Yeah.
and you save money that way too, and
Yeah.
it's what you need. The plants that are available during this time of year
Yeah.
versus that time of year is more of what you
But I
need.
think it's a good investment when it comes to herbs because I think that the best investment you can do for yourself is whatever increases productivity. Like I do my YouTube videos, for example, and I can tell that after taking MyLab Pro, I'm feeling much less lazy. I'm feeling less procrastination. I'm able to be more productive and get more things done because I'm less stressed. So I think that's a holistic approach, and you can see the herbs is like an investment you're doing to actually build your life in whatever direction you want to take it. And so that's kind of how I seeing it. I see it's like the right
Well,
fuel to get things done.
as long as you're not using it as a replacement for eating what you should do. It's like people who don't eat right and say, "Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to take a supplement." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Oh, you're still going to die of a heart attack." Watch.
Yeah.
uh, well,
No, definitely, it's definitely not like that.
that's
For
not
me.
the thing. I mean, that's not the thing that I
Yeah.
would go out and say to people. But uh,
Yeah.
it's that sort of situation.
I
But
mean, eating vegetables is kind of expensive. Finding right organic
oh no, well,
carrots or whatever.
that's the thing I'm saying is that if you eat
Yeah.
differently different times a year and you pay attention to the prices, like okay, wait, the
Yeah.
nut. It's like after Christmas,
Yeah.
buying nuts. Oh,
Hmm.
I don't have too much of a following
Yeah.
locally. I don't want to have too much competition with that. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean. You find a time where something is, if it's going to store, it's like, oh, what it's
Yeah.
like. This is the time where they have this on sale, and it's a package
Hmm.
deal. So I'm going to put this away. I'm going to spend
Yeah.
$30 and get this, and I'm going to eat or 50, and I'm going to eat it throughout the year, right?
Yeah.
So there's situations like
But I
that
mean,
where
that's kind of expensive, and not many people have the money nor the time. And I think that we need to look. We need to, look forward. Like I'm an alien soul, right? And we are like for example, if we go back like 4,000 years back, or like 10,000 years back in the Native American culture, the Viking cultures, they did eat. They ate seasonally, and
yeah,
all of that. But
that's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that
Both seasonally and the stuff that you can save throughout. It's like you can if you
yeah,
don't keep it if you keep it at the right temperature and you get ones that
yeah,
don't have bad spots, you can get some
mm,
of those winter squash to last a full year.
yep,
So you got a pile of pumpkins and
yeah,
you eat them. Yeah, they keep their way through the winter. Maybe you can just eat them in
yeah,
the winter, but You can actually pull out a pumpkin in July and eat a pumpkin before they come in September, October, and
Yeah, but this way of living is not compatible with our more highly technological societies that everything is evolving, and even our society is getting more technological, and everything is getting more, we can't live the way they did like 5,000 years ago, because we live in a different society, so we need a different approach
well,
to
a lot of it,
this.
it's just they just don't want us to, they want us to spend more to have the same thing all the time, or
Yeah,
whatever the thing is. And
yeah.
that's one of the things you notice if you don't, uh,
Mm,
if you eat seasonally. I mean, and the same thing
yeah,
with the supermarkets. You notice the difference. Like some stuff are available, but it's going to cost you more. Sometimes it will cost you twice as
yeah,
much
yeah,
this time of year, 3 times as much. It's like, and if you notice
yeah,
that, then you can, oh, okay, I'm eating this, and oh, this is
yeah,
so much cheaper this time of during winter than it is the other time of year. And
yeah.
nowadays, it's like I mentioned eating mangoes, and mangoes aren't as
That's a good fruit.
a lot more available than they used to be, because I guess they're better at shipping them and stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but they didn't used to be available year round at your typical, just by the
Mm,
time you get to the 30th parallel, you're not buying mangoes.
yeah, yeah,
And anywhere, even northern California, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get citrus fruit and mangoes year round, but now you can get them year.
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But it's better to buy them in season when they're, when they're
yeah, but
they
I
get
mean,
ripe.
not many people have the time or the money or the you know and so I'm not so much into the vegan lifestyle and all that. I guess if you have knowledge of certain herbs, like certain powerful herbs like reishi mushroom or chaga mushroom, for example, or these medicinal herbs, like chaga, for example, has been called the king of mushrooms by the Chinese, and they've been using it as a only the kings or the kings, I think, could afford this back in China thousands of years back. But now it's available for everybody to take these powerful herbs, and I really think that most people, Earth humans, are not aware of what power really lies in these herbs, and they can heal 20 years of malnutrition. 20 years of not eating well can be healed in a week, basically a week, with these powerful supplements, if you know what kind of supplements it is and where to find them, and
Yeah,
you need to do your research.
and I've
Yeah,
heard of people curing cancer getting high doses of vitamin A from eating from a lot of carrot juice and stuff like this.
yeah.
I mean, I just don't mean like a couple glasses or something. I mean like it's
Hmm.
like actually a treatment. Your like skin kind of turns yellow, kind of
Yeah,
kind of thing. But which
yeah,
again, anybody getting treatment, they should look at their situation, have it actually looked at, rather than just, oh, I feel like doing this one, and it's But
hmm,
yeah, I agree. People don't. I wasn't saying in terms of vegan per se. The only
yeah.
thing that's important is just not eating too much. Maybe looking at how the animals were treated and all that.
But I mean, isn't that expensive? Like the way I'm seeing it, it's a very expensive lifestyle to eat organic and have all the nutrients in your body, right? Like to
Well,
get,
it's not as cheap. It's not as expensive as as doctor visit, but it's just really
yeah.
not. A lot of it doesn't matter, honestly. Uh,
Hmm.
you're not really going to notice that now with meat and dairy, you're going to notice more than anything else the difference
Mm,
between this is animals been eating them and concentrating toxins from herbicides, and this animal's
yeah.
been hormones from the meat and stuff like this. It affects the meat and the
Mm,
milk more than anything else. But
hmm.
so that you probably should look at stronger. But some
Yeah,
things it's like a banana. You peel a banana, you peel a
yeah,
you peel a you peel your citrus fruit. So
yeah.
the only thing that organic, I mean, it goes deeper than that, but
Hmm.
for the most part, the only thing
Yeah.
that matters about is if you're actually going to eat the peel.
Mm,
If you're not going to eat the peel, a lot of this
hmm.
organic stuff just doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, of course not. Yeah.
Its effect is negligible. It's not worth it. It's not worth the effort.
No, exactly.
Um,
No. Yeah.
but I was talking more in seasonal, and you save money by looking at and seeing that sort of thing rather than, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there
But
are neuropsychologists
you know,
and doctors
getting in
who have
touch
like
with your it's like the whole thing.
compiled the greatest things into one tablet. So why not? I mean, yeah.
And people, there's more than enough resources for 10 times the population of the world to get what it needs. And that's okay. People should
Mm.
have that. And that's one thing they talk about. Now, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that everybody, whether they can work or not, because honestly, if, you know, I need to do some farming and stuff to be able to stretch
Yeah.
out my budget because food is expensive. And I can't,
Yeah.
if I eat bleach food, I can, I don't want to cite all my vulnerable. Anyways, I have to eat any natural whole food. I can basically, you know, eat whatever
Yeah.
as long as it's not dairy. I can, you know. Oh, and I shouldn't eat pig. But for the most part, I can just basically eat anything, as long as
Yeah.
it's straight up old fashioned type of food. By old
Yeah.
fashioned,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean pre-modern technology, because all these
Mm-hmm.
concentrated proteins and all this other stuff, it's like,
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can eat nuts till my stomach is full, but you concentrate the protein out of the almonds,
Yeah.
put it into your oatmeal. It's like, oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's a stomach ache waiting to happen. Um,
Yeah.
Long-term health problem. A lot of people are having long-term health the gluten-free thing is based on, there are people around that tried the gluten concentrate stuff that are damaged from doing
Mm-hmm.
that. So all the tofurkey and stuff is damaging people's health.
Yeah. And let's say you eat those turkey and it's damaging your health, but you can counteract that very easily by medicinal herbs. If you know, like, for example, you can say that the damage done by eating the wrong foods can be canceled out very quickly if you know which medicinal herbs to find. And I think that this is knowledge that most people don't have, and I think that this is underestimated.
Well,
People
look at
underestimate
what
these things.
I don't know if you've noticed. There's two things that happened. There was a
Mhm.
lab break-in October. So
Yeah.
October 9th, the lab was broken into by American agents, and
Uh-huh.
you know,
Oh, really?
2019. And
Yeah.
it happened to they happened to steal they happened to steal a coronavirus, which ended up being what they're talking about. Now it's branched into 9. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which would you expect to
Yeah.
happen? But you know what they did that month? They didn't wait till
No.
it became a big thing. In my country, they stopped advertising the vitamin C and other stuff that they usually advertise when things start
What?
getting cold. They stopped advertising that stuff. They always have
Really?
a thing. The FDA does not admit that herbs and vitamins
Oh,
prevent or
shit.
cure diseases. So they
Yeah.
always have that part, but they always
Uh-huh.
have those advertisements, and people would go off and buy this stuff to stay well and get well. And they
Wow.
didn't have the advertisements as the commercials and stuff anymore. All of a sudden, it stopped. And
Oh, shit.
then next
What?
thing you know, by in January, I mean, in February, people were going to the
Yeah.
hospital, spending
Yeah.
$7,000 a person to get
Oh,
treated,
shit.
when they probably should have just taken a vitamin C pill every day and gotten better, like people started to do when the thing first came out.
Wow.
They shut down
That makes me really angry to hear the hypocrisy of that.
anybody who took herbs,
Yeah.
calamus, eyebright, any herb, any vitamin.
Uh-huh.
They shut them out of the. At first, they thought it was a good idea, and they're wait, no.
What?
So they stopped. They pulled it out. People like this that were getting cured, they pulled it out, and where in my country, if you buy herbs from my country, they're all listed
Yeah.
as magic spells instead of folk remedies,
Uh-huh.
folk prevention. The FDA doesn't.
What?
They're listing them as magic spells. So I went to buy, or I thought, okay,
Mhm.
I need to set up. If my family gets sick, I'm going to have the stuff that's going to keep us through the worst symptoms and get us better, even if we have a case that lasts for weeks.
Wow.
I got the herbs. I bought the herbs that were necessary, and
Okay,
they were
yeah.
listed as for magic spells. I agree, including your
What?
spirituality.
Are you joking?
But no, I am not. I'm not joking. Look all over the internet. There's companies in America that used to sell folk remedies that,
I didn't know it was this
that have
bad.
all been told that their stuff should be relisted as magic spells, and so everybody, the people who know old-fashioned ways know. Okay,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this herb's for breathing. This herb's for fighting viruses. This herb's for you got ulcer either foot or whatever. This herb can help.
Yeah.
But they've recategorized things into magic spells in the sales because they've kind of done that away. So
I mean, wasn't herbal knowledge considered witchcraft by the Christian church back in the days, and weren't people burned by that shit?
Well, a lot of it was associated. It's like that that RX thing. It's like prayer for Jupiter, because you have the symbol for Jupiter merging into a P. So it was linked to religion. Let's be honest. It was linked to religion. A lot of the things. Correspondences. It's like I got this book here. I've taken my own notes. This is a really beat up book because I've taken my own notes to this.
Oh, that's a beat up book right there. Yeah.
So I've taped it together multiple times.
Oh shit!
I've taken notes with plants that aren't included, symbolic references.
Oh wow!
So basically, if I don't
that's
have
an interesting book right there.
I can have a cheap, but now there's there's another book in the temple room where that I haven't beat up quite so much, but it refers to natural healing and stuff like this. So there's a lot of stuff like that I have.
Wow.
And
how many books do you have, by the way?
I don't know. There's a lot that I've read that I don't have.
Thousands or tens of thousands, or I'm curious.
Well, you see my bookshelf. Some shelves are only like dozen. You have a big shelf, it could only be a dozen books. It depends on the size of the book. So I honestly don't know. I'm sitting on a pile of books.
Wow.
There's
you're even sitting on a pile of books. Oh shit.
There's several books underneath me, and there's a couple of bigger books. I right near on the other side of this book, I've gotten our Gargles book, a book that I've.
Oh, you even have a Gargles book. Oh shit!
It's printed. It's not as crazy as his channel, and it goes into like the whole thing. And it
isn't.
That channel got pulled, but I mean, he's not screaming at the. He's not
screaming. I'm a reptile alien.
Things, but he goes into the same sort of areas.
Yeah.
It gets every bit as dark, but
it goes to the same areas, right? Like in his videos, sort of.
Yeah. It's
and I get the feeling that you and Nargago are very alike in one thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me later. But I guess I get the feeling that you both like organized chaos very much.
Yeah, this is yeah, this and it's not ridiculously overpriced like your typical I've communicated with him privately. He goes back and forth whether or not he's going to appear on my channel at some point. But some seasonal points, his own, he's not really a follower of Order of Nine Angles. Is kind of
that's a bullshit organization right there.
Okay. Well, one of the problems with that group is you have people that are like, well, one, it's another compile. It's gone too feminist. It's gone too feministic. It's like that's one thing I could say there. I mean, maybe this is not the program to say that with.
Yeah.
But it's artificial female in control bit is one of the issues they did, but it's like they're too they're extreme for extreme's sake. And they talk about human sacrifice. Oh, we want to sacrifice a every 17 years, and people don't. I understand there's symbolic value to what they're talking about, and I know exactly what symbolic value that they can look at and say that maybe is a good thing. But
well, I don't see any value at all with that bullshit organization, to be honest. But
well,
go on.
But what I'm saying is, people do think people join organizations like that and figure, oh, here's a group where we can talk about being basically criminals, and people. It's like it's asking for problems.
I mean, yeah, it's exactly. That's what I was going. It's asking.
It's asking for.
What are they thinking? You know. Like, don't they think about what kind of crap it's gonna attract to have such a crappy, sales pitch or whatever?
And the Temple of Blood is like what you have to hit yourself 88 times a day for months on.
Yeah.
Like, no way I'm doing that.
No way, man. I ain't doing that shit.
The nightmare room. So what they control trauma and stuff like this. It's like. I mean, I do have contacts associated with some of these things, but don't think that people, because I've contacted with this, it's like I have had contact with the Aryan Brotherhood and the but it's not it's not that I was racist. No, it's just a group that I was at truce with, more or less. It wasn't, and it wasn't that. There were so many things about that group. I wasn't a gang member. I'm not going to front. I wasn't part of Aryan Nations or Aryan Brotherhood. It was just things around. Just like I got. I was basically born into. I don't even remember whether it was the Bloods or the Crips, whether we were or down the street, another cul-de-sac was, or what the deal was. But so I don't remember. But I know it was one of those two that me and my brother were kind of, but we weren't really part of the gang. We just got along with the gang members in our in the area, because that's how it usually operates. Is that you usually end up with like a street or a part of a street or something, and that ends up being this gang's territory, and you just get along with this gang, and sometimes it's been gangs that were pretty much all not white. So it's it wasn't racial. It wasn't that I approved of the gangs. It's just I learned how to get by with the presence of some of these things going on. And but or I can I can I can talk about, I can research and get into areas, but that doesn't mean that it's like, definitely, it's like if people could go to church and not take part in honor killings, I can definitely talk about Christianity and Judaism without taking part in honor killings or killing the blast, and all that, all that other stuff with all those witch trials and all that stuff. I report on stuff, I interact with, but I don't. I don't engage. I don't support certain. Just like. I mean, if I won't even support the idea of giving my money to somebody who's going to do a ritual on my behalf for that purpose, I'm definitely not going to support some organization and their intolerance.
Yeah, definitely not going to do that. And then
some torture some animal, animal slaughter and eating, whatever. Sacrifices are usually more humane, but there are sacrifices that kind of no. Gone into dark area with that, but one issue. I mean, we already talked about well, you got to be your authentic self. We've agreed upon that, and but gender, they say they don't recommend gender like it's some sort of social construct. But honestly, whether people are born male or female. That's a real physical thing. There are certain things that people say. It's like some cultures.
Yeah, it is a real thing. Yeah.
Some people say that some cultures, they say
Yeah.
don't wear red or don't wear blue or don't wear purple or something as a male. But other cultures, the males wear those colors, and so some
Yeah.
of this stuff just varies per culture. Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
so we not get too hung up on certain cultural thingamajiggers.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure it's part of your you take issue with it too. It's like so many of these
Yeah.
cultures, they're religious. They
hmm
don't material culture is not the same thing as religious teachings,
hmm
and
hmm
whether,
That's right.
particularly when you're a big religion, people don't. It's like you go to
Yeah.
Iran and women wear the chador, and the chador, the Islamic way of dressing for male and female is not a particular piece of clothing, but some
No.
people
No.
act like
Yeah.
I've talked to people and it's like, oh well, it's only certain types of sandals. Are you kidding me? Does it say
Yeah. Oh, you kidding me, right?
no?
Yeah.
And back to the with the other program, the whole
hmm
you know, authenticity is one of the things that I this group. You got to be authentic and
Yep.
you know, admit what you really are. Maybe you have thoughts that shouldn't be realized and maybe shouldn't be shared with everybody, like this guy named David Schurter, who I
Yeah.
basically exposed. I got him to say on his channel that
Yeah.
because you know, the guy responded to me like, oh, it wasn't ever, it wasn't all the time, so it's like, oh, so you are admitting that you violently raped somebody. You're just not saying
What?
it's abuse because you're saying it only happened once. I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
game over. You're that's it. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, you're fortunate I'm not allowed to implement the death penalty legally, or I might
Yeah.
travel over there. But the
Oh, by the way, can I just stop you there for a second? I just noticed something there. You know the book you're holding there, the Unicole Unicron? If you look at it from a different angle, you can see two devil hand signs there, and you can see that the devil's horn. Do you see that? Like if you do the devil's hand sign on both.
so like you think that's doing something like that?
Yeah, isn't that like two hand sign, devil hand sign, and in the middle there it's Saturn, the planet Saturn. That's the eye,
It
and the
does center
horn
on
is like.
you know what that, you know, they do that in the Kabbalah, is that the cube of space, they put Saturn in the center.
Yeah, they do.
And Saturn, the Saturn slash Earth path of
Uh-huh.
tree of life is the one connected straightly to Earth, but it's not
Uh-huh.
Earth to Saturn. That's what I was saying. The order of nine angles.
Yeah.
They kind of mix up their thing. I think they were trying to combine traditions and didn't know what to do at
hmm
points. Um,
Yeah.
but I agree that there's a method thing, but a lot of the things just off. But yeah, the Saturn. So you got the cube of
hmm
space in the Kabbalah, and let's say like west is Jupiter and Venus
Mm.
is east, and south is Sun, and north is Mercury, below
hmm
is Mars, up is, but Saturn is at the center. And if you look
I,
at the,
I I find it interesting that sun is south because Satan is the sun, and when you have the four crown princes, Satan is always in the south, and Belial is on the north, and Beelzebub is on the east, and Leviathan is on the west. But the fact that both the sun and Satan
okay,
are,
Leviathan, I definitely one of the things about the
yeah,
grimoire is people always expect you to know. It's like I've
uh-huh,
read a whole series of things, and first of all, every
yeah,
single okay, she's not doing this with this. She's not trying to make it's like it's a dark occult book, so it's a grimoire. That's not
hmm
a grimoire. A grimoire is a method manual. Most grimoires
hmm
are less than 30 pages. Let's be honest,
hmm
less than 30 pages. I think most of them are even less than 10 pages. It's a
oh,
little bit of a
okay,
background, a list of some spirits, maybe some. Well, I mean, there some of them are a bit different, but that's it. Uh,
yeah,
it's not some big tome of occult thing. There's some that are pretty big, but very
hmm
few grimoires are like that. So nowadays,
mm,
it's the you know, one of my interview guests. I'm not
yeah,
sure if he keeps on talking about grimoire. He uses the term grimoire, but His books can be stripped down to like 5 pages of grimoire and then 100 pages of something else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
As far as what I can tell, I haven't seen all his books are expensive to begin with. That's Nargargle makes minimal profit and gets his thing out. The Dogma of Angermanu, I got their book, and again, they're making a minimal profit, and they're getting their information out because they say there's spiritual use of this stuff. They're not trying to sell you some. Martinet Press does a similar job. They want to make a living, but they don't try to sell you some $200 book that's been.
Do you have a lot of their books, by the way? Have you bought a lot of their literature and stuff?
Martinet Press, or?
Yeah, and these different or Axaru or.
Axaru is a bit more pricey, that group. I don't, as I'm saying, I'm not out there buying.
You buy a lot of this kind of material, or?
Not for the most part, but I've one basically knows on my channel which books like that I've had, because I've done a video or I've mentioned them in a video. So not that much compared to certain other things. I'll buy thousands of pages of other stuff. And just buy like maybe 1,000 pages.
I get the feeling you're more rare in that sense, that you're not buying so much mainstream books. You are more like the one who tries to find the rare gems out there, right?
Yes and no. It's like some stuff has become more rare. It's like I read back in the day. I read everything. Now, a lot of it was just available on the internet, but a lot of the Aleister Crowley stuff has just gone way more expensive. And it's like, I'm not spending $500 for what I used to be able to get $50. I'm, either I'm going to read it online or I'm not going to have any more of the books. That's just it. It's Aleister Crowley was like a Joseph Campbell that didn't, he was like a Joseph Campbell character that didn't, that tried to experience his spirituality in every sort of facet that he could possibly experience it. Some of that went too far, obviously.
Is he the one who inspired you to be everywhere? Kind of, even on YouTube, you're everywhere. Like whatever video I'm watching, you're there making a comment. I kind of like that with you very much.
I mean, I don't have to, Crowley tried to believe everything while he was in it, and I'm not that sort of person that I'm like just going to try to believe whatever. It's I'm a bit more.
No, that's not what I meant. No.
But I'm definitely not out there biting people just to give it a try and different types of drugs.
No, I didn't get that from you either.
But trying to have those experiences without the drugs. Oh, I'm looking at brain scans.
That's a far better approach, I think.
And stuff about neural, different glands and stuff like this to try to figure out what can I do. Sending vibrations to this and following this, and it's like,
we're very alike there, you and me. We have very much the same approach.
And you don't get and unlike taking meth or cocaine or whatever, you're not risking your life every time you kind of get into state.
That's right.
It's like one of the things that Crowley, back when heroin was safer than Tylenol because it was just a plain drug, like cocaine was available too. But people died from cocaine accidentally. Basically, heroin, either you got to be just plain stupid, or you got to be doing
that's a stupid fucking drug. I really hate that shit. Heroin, meth.
But
have you ever noticed that people who take these?
I'm talking about when it was pure and it had less side effects than smoking.
Oh, even
But people knew, okay, you got to cut. You're doing like a few grams at a time. You're not a few milligrams at a time. So you're cutting the thing thin and just. That's where you start. And people knew how much they were taking. They weren't inhaling some chemical that burnt them. It was just, I mean, it had issues, but it wasn't anywhere near what it was. It's like, okay,
it is today.
MDMA is a risky drug, but it's so much more. What?
I really hate these things that people that's become a trend in the drug world nowadays. MDMA and fucking heroin and cocaine and bullshit.
Well, people want to have the extreme experience, but one, it's you don't know what you're getting, and it's a drug that they ban from.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're fucking getting, because even with cannabis, they put fucking rat poison in there. Probably.
Well,
You know.
if you cross someone and don't even know it, you don't even know.
Yeah.
You just said something at a party, and somebody could someone could.
It could be so easy to kill you, you know.
Lace your thing, and you know, you can go totally nuts. Some people get killed. One of the ways some people get killed by the police is they go totally nuts on drugs, and there's not much of things that they can be done. It's not like the police are seeking out to kill you. It's
exactly.
Like you're waving around a gun and a thing, or you're trying to bite someone's arm off or something.
Exactly. Crazy things like that.
Stuff. And some of this stuff is because they've turned it into. It's like back in the day when shamans used to chew a few cocaine. It wasn't a thing that when people were doing live.
Yeah, people don't realize this. People are so fucking stupid.
When people do, or people say there's a plant in Texas and Utah that the cows and the cows go, it's meth. You got to sit around and use, you don't use the levels that you do when you snort a line or smoke a rock or something. It's just not.
Shit.
It's not the thing.
Yeah.
So when people use stuff as a shaman thing, it's like opiates, you couldn't get that much opiate at a time, and they'd have a ceremony once a year or something like that where everybody uses a little marijuana, a little opium, a little this. And exactly. Not saying that I agree with that or say it's necessary or something, but it wasn't sure it was when somebody's like, I'm trying to escape my life and I don't even know how much I'm using and what's with it. And I don't know if the next song on the radio, I'm going to follow along what crazy thing they're singing about in that song. Because that was long one of the tricks. In ancient Arabia, it was known among some of the
with the opium, right?
Some of the
or
even alcohol. You can get someone drunk and expose them to the right songs and the right song and dance, and you can get them off doing stuff. And opium was something that could be present, but
but it wasn't to the extent that it's today. Like
Saudi Arabia, as far as the country goes, Saudi Arabia is the worst. America and Europe abuses medication that they shouldn't be taking because it's like don't use happy pills and stuff like this, and tell me that you're not doing the same thing that people do when they take illegal drugs or whatever. You have the same sort of goals. You're just trying to stay legal. Like so many people, it's like, oh, I'm not in trouble. It's like you're popping pills in the same categories that you used to pop that you used to buy street drugs. So don't tell me that you're sober and recovered and you're using drugs all the time. Just no, I'm not falling for that. But the point, Diary of a Drug Fiend was Aleister Crowley's books. And I don't know. And he basically pointed out that drugs were like this book kind of teaches a person that drugs are like an alternative to religion. So therefore, drug use can be used to approach the sort of experiences. So therefore, if you have the techniques and stuff, maybe you can have those experiences otherwise. And Shamanism Techniques of Ecstasy by Mircea Eliade goes into that. That a lot of these shamans, they start off taking magic mushrooms and ayahuasca and also different drug combo and Haoma and Soma and stuff like that. But then they realize they've had some of the experience and they find it easier to have the experience without the drugs.
Okay.
So
that's right. Gotcha.
But the thing that's needed far more than experience is the development as the human being. Why can't we just develop as human beings and look at how we behave?
That's what people aren't doing nowadays, right? When they take drugs, they're devolving instead.
It's like But look at what happens to the person. It's like, oh, this person was so great in the parties in high school.
Oh yeah.
Whether they're going to call the person a slut or whatever, or whatever the deal. But look at what they are. They destroyed their life. But the very by the time they were 1 year out of high school, it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Oh shit.
anybody
People are so fucking stupid.
Anybody who, and I don't excuse people just, oh, there's teenage. It's like, no.
Yeah.
People are accountable for independent morality, ability to choose. That is what happens. Unless you're insane, that's what happens with puberty. If you're a teenager, that's just what happens. That's why it's called the child stage. Your parents, society has told you all this stuff. Either you accept stuff or you don't. It's up to you. You can't say. It's like these cults where they get you to marry or something like this. Who says it's wrong? Who turns them in and says there's things are not going right in these cults? And as a rule, what they call cults, because they're minority or tend to be safer. But as I said first, there's some issues like Adam Waffen. The O&A brand, the O&A people that have gotten into Adam Waffen are they're a threat to society. Let's point that out.
Okay,
That's clear. I mean, really, the world is the world is a Jewish disease, and well. Okay.
Oh, come on, give me a break.
Not going into that, but you know, that's the sort of thing that they
joy of Satan bullshit.
It's like joy of Satan that wants to conquer the world, and
that's like the greatest bullshit right there of Satanism.
And
the climax.
And so they want, but the thing is, Adam Waffen was founded by a Nazi party member that says, you know why the Nazis got it wrong? Because they were left-wing Christian fascists. What we need is right-wing Christian fascism.
What?
No, that doesn't really fix the problem. Left-wing versus right-wing problem. It's going to be different, but come on.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Yeah, they have to repackage the bullshit when it's no longer working, right?
But it's not that far different. And okay,
and I guess it's not that much difference.
I do give them props with that they enjoying yourself, pleasure, and a morality base that actually regards others.
Oh shit, low battery. I gotta put it in the fucking charger again. Hate this phone. Battery lasts for like 5 minutes. Oh, it's not easy being homeless with an iPhone 5 only. That's
in my country. There was people that figured out that you can make little homes for people for a few $1,000s and they figured no, we don't want camps full of people lined up there.
What?
So people were shut down. People would even buy a lot and say, "Hey, I'm setting up a little series of houses. I'm going to get dozens of people off the street." No, that's there's even the millionaires that tried to involve themselves in that stuff and that say no.
Yeah.
Just like I said, government housing across my country, not everywhere, not all of it, but certainly a lot of it in over a dozen cities alone that I've seen reference to. They've geared the government housing help to the people that are working full time that should get the proper wage, so they wouldn't have to collect anything from government benefits.
What?
You know, so yeah, it's
so easy solutions, yet they don't want to do it.
Just like if they didn't give $2 trillion a year to Israel, then that could fix world hunger, world poverty, world peace. All that stuff could be brought about much cheaper than that. But they're like, Soros says, oh yeah, for $40 billion a year, but you better give Israel $2 trillion.
Yeah.
Okay. But he says that.
Okay.
He says that amount of money all the time. It's like, of course, if you're going to line up a country and anger all its neighbors and say,
create the problems, then fix the solutions too,
and give them all the guns and weapons to keep their neighbors from taking their land back, and maybe just saying, okay, it doesn't matter. We're going to let people just live here rather than having a military state. They don't want that one.
I don't want a military state. That's for sure.
So it's a lot more expensive. It's like my country used.
Yeah.
You take the 30 at one point, not in a recent year. I don't remember what year. They were saying that the 32 countries under us in military spending equal our country in military spending. And my country gives most of its money to most of the tax money is welfare for, corporations and rich people. That's it. It's welfare, direct or indirect, and that just needs to stop. They tax us so much that it's just they're
no logic in how they're fucking working now. The governments, there's never any fucking logic.
It's there's logic. It's just not logic for us.
Not for us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It's like censorship is not directed at keeping things safe. I can understand if they don't want snuff films and child porn available for the general public. Well, but the government workers get to watch it. That's
they have a logic there, but they failed the same logic in other areas. It seems.
But that's one of the things there. But we've talked about the privacy thing. It's like all the internet's been recorded by multiple governments for this entire century, and it's like okay, and we also have the now from the sky. You can't expect anything anywhere on Earth for multiple governments not to be watching from the sky. If it's visible from above, or even from an angle, it's like, they got pictures of everything the size of a grapefruit to the point where it's like, smaller if it's the government, the people, the people can view that. It's like, you shouldn't be able to randomly go into somebody's yard and see a miniature picture of them naked because they decided to swim in their pool where they had privacy in their backyard. They had walls there. If they're going to be naked in their hot tub, that's up to them. It's like and now your devices record your conversations. Like you can get those little like Siri and Alexa and all that all the stuff.
Oh yeah, Siri and Alexa. Yeah.
You can sit some of these.
Those are the greatest stepping stones to AI. I can tell you.
That you can sit these things in the same room and they'll talk to each other, and even if they don't see each other yet, they can know the other one's there.
Alexa and Siri?
If you get one of these devices and you plug it in around the corner and it never has been exposed to the other one, you can get it to. It will know the other one's there. And it's even a different company.
What?
It knows the one from the other company is there, and so it's
shit.
And they even got TVs that will listen to. The TV has been broadcasting for viewership things for a while. You plug in your TV and you're watching something on the air, and they've got now again. I would strongly recommend. That they talk about brainwashing, and they use brainwashing in this group. That's what the spiral is, obviously. Unicult brainwasher, and spectrums being representing by rainbows and all that. But it's interesting she chose Pizza Club when Pizza Club was thought to be a code for something else. Pizzagate, they called it in this country.
Pizzagate, yeah.
But so we're all everybody's trying to influence everybody. People are trying to having their effect on the world, good or bad. Just morally judging, like you were exposed to different things in your life, I'm sure. But we like the don't judge stuff. It's like you judge constantly. Come on, people.
Yeah, exactly. I think I mentioned that in one of my videos. It's like the louder people talk about a virtue, the less they tend to have of it. Have you noticed that? Like, the more you talk about love, the less you have of it. Like, you know, it's
Oh,
like,
like I'm saying with this. Okay, if somebody
yeah.
wants to decide that they're no gender or different gender or different even species than they physically are, that's one thing.
Yeah.
When they're trying to force it, it's like you're gender, you're transphobic and you're this phobic and that other. It's like, just because I don't want, if somebody's gonna, I have right to defend myself first of all. So if if someone's going to say, trying to make me do something or something, or pose a threat physically or something, that's something completely different. But
Yeah.
if I just don't express approval of what you have to say, society can't work like that, because people actually do have, hey, I'm going to focus on this and you're going to focus on that, and I believe this and you believe that. It's like, okay, that's, to you yours and to me mine. That's
Yeah.
but
It's kind of very simple kind of philosophy to live by.
when you're trying to feel that, and the pretending thing, it's like, yes, you can repeat stuff. You can repeat stuff, and it helps redirect your mind to no longer follow bad habits and stuff like this. But you can't always. It's like people say, if your faith was strong enough, yeah,
Move mountains.
you've been injured to the point where they won't even do surgery on you.
Yeah.
That because they're not sure that even $30,000 of surgery would make that issue better. But it's because your faith is not strong enough. If your faith was strong enough, it would move this. Like, first of all, things aren't necessarily the most important things in the world to begin with. And honestly, the fact that I should just, I'm apparently not worthy or not good enough of a person to have been healed from my, my joints are just going to recover themselves on their own if I just decide that I believe something. You got to be realistic. But enacting your healing, it's like, you can meditate and relieve pain for a moment, but you better not get up and try to run and say, "Oh, I'm healed now. It's not going to hurt." So you end up hurting yourself again. Just like well, not pretending, but it's like when you meditate. It's like when you meditate, and sometimes you don't know, what's that earthquake physical, and you don't tell people, because it's like, okay, well, it's just a meditation experience, and then sometimes you find out, oh, there was an earthquake. I didn't know. I was praying at the time.
Yeah. Oh shit! I'm hearing somebody. I need to keep my voice down, but keep talking anyway.
But okay, they do talk about. Unicole Unicron does mention specific brain waves: infralow, delta, theta, alpha, beta.
Oh, they do.
But she doesn't use a bell. She should use a bell that's a delta bell. If she wants to bring people's awareness and stuff. I have a delta bell. I have tubular bells, so I can work on patterns and musical scales and stuff like that with that. But the again, okay, I talk about stuff. Well, I'm not that physically skilled of a musician, so I can talk about musical theory and stuff like this a lot better than I can illustrate with my hands by playing an instrument. But after talking about all this stuff, they don't. I heard. I keep hearing something else on occasion. That's not you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important. It's important to employ these things. Just like have you seen the Aleister Crowley Thoth Tarot?
Yeah, I have.
Most tarot decks do not do something that deck does wonderfully. Is it tries to have an effect through color, just like H.P. Lovecraft.
So what would you say is the difference between a normal tarot card and his tarot card?
It's less. Like the Rider-Waite-Smith is like too much. It's too much night mythology sort of drawings. It's that's useful, but it's not as Crowley gets into more areas, but the color, the way that Crowley uses color, very few decks use color to convey meaning.
Oh, really?
To convey effect. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I don't like when you talk about debauchery and you talk about worry and stuff like this, you're not supposed to see some color that's going to make you happy.
Oh,
You know, it's like, oh, there's no risk there. It's like that's all love and light there. It's like, and people need to stop with their and that's when it stops being a tarot deck and becomes some sort of oracle deck or some sort of art deck. When it's when you stop, oh, I don't like this theme, so I'm going to not really convey that part of the theme. It's like I don't like the fact that it's like I want to make lovers just some people sneaking off in the woods to have sex. I don't want to make the card have any real meaning aside from that. It's like you've lost most of the card. I'm not downing the fact that people that people feel like you know, obviously people have desires whether or not they have the proper place to put them or not. But the card is about covenants. It's you even have brothers on some of the tarot on the some of the brother cards because you have you know, it's about a spiritual goal that you work to together, some sort of worldly goal or whatever. It's less about that, but honestly, you want to merge the two. Like I would never consider. I don't like how some people talk about the term soulmates. That kind of goes.
Yeah, that I have a problem with that term as well, very much.
They make it like one person's met for you, and you have to, if you haven't found that person, it's like, well, you can't.
And then you fail forever.
People are supposed to be sufficient in themselves. That doesn't mean they don't involve themselves with other people, but you're supposed to be content about who you are in yourself. Knock it off with this I'm not complete stuff. Males and females have different strengths and weaknesses over each other, but let's not pretend that we're not complete human beings in ourselves.
Exactly.
But but in the sense of a spiritual partnership, it's like there's been every single woman that I've actually would have, if there would have been
tell me about it.
Some differences. I literally made a playlist about one of these people's. Is she if it wasn't for certain problems that this person had, that you know, it didn't make it good for her. Anybody that you know, you know, you can support the good in someone without, okay, I can't live with the person and support the good with her. So that's why I never lived with her. But every single woman that I would have considered if things, you know, back in 2005, I would have married this woman if. A few years earlier, I would have married this woman if. And this other woman, if every year at least once, come back and like. Yeah,
there's an if factor there too. The tarot card doesn't take into consideration, right?
Honestly, you know, I've gone into relationships with the possibility, but not you know, not that to that degree that it's like, okay, there's definitely somebody that, okay, let's see if the situation but it was very, very situational. It's not like everything has to be the same or some nonsense like that.
Exactly.
Her shows, I can watch my shows. That's or if I don't want to watch any shows at all, want to sit around in my library and read, I'll do that. You know, it's like I'm sure. I probably won't end up with a woman who wants to circle the house in the cold of night to keep the deer away from the garden and stuff. That's something I can do on my own. She doesn't need to go with me. If she wants to, whatever. But yeah, it would have been a spiritual partnership, somebody that I could discuss anything, not just. It's you know. It's a poor goal for a relationship that you just find someone that you're willing to have sex with and settle down. And
I'm fine with that, but
the rest of the relationships isn't something you can necessarily expect to go too well.
What's your view of a relationship? What is it? You know, some people think they're important. Some people don't, like me, don't think they're important. Like, what's your kind of view on relationships?
I definitely think things are all sorts of all sorts of types of relationships.
I understand that they're all
Those
important,
type,
but
they're important, but the thing is that I
yeah.
don't believe in being in one just to be in one.
No, me neither. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would still be married, but there was at least a couple women that I just could have married if I would
Yeah.
have just, oh, I could have got married. No,
Yeah.
it takes
Yeah.
more than that. Just like it's like for example, one
Yeah.
I will point out that marrying her would have made me look like a hypocrite.
Oh,
So,
all right.
and it's not just about
Why?
it's just
Or,
not about persona, but
yeah.
something was very big in her life that I obviously oppose. Now if now it's one thing, like for example, I will marry a woman with a different faith than me. I'm open to the idea that people don't have to have the same
And what's your faith?
or something like that. But
Do you have a particular faith or
I mean, some things I won't, because it's like some of these new agers I wouldn't get with, because
yeah, you wouldn't want to
they're
get
like
with
all over the
Unicron, right?
place. You never know what they're going to do. You never know what they're going to
Yeah.
yeah, they're not really spiritually guided, but they want to be in their
Mm.
like, well, okay, this woman was actually married at the time, and I didn't get involved like that with this person, but there's somebody that I know
Yeah.
are new. I haven't talked to in at least a year, maybe two. I'm not sure when.
What's her name?
I'm not going to say, but this person, when they were a new ager,
Yeah.
they would do stuff. It's like, if your son doesn't want to be
Yeah.
a transgender or a
Transgender.
non-gender,
Yeah.
don't try to dress him up like a girl and make him go to school. If he doesn't want to go to school in a dress, don't make him go to school in a dress. And
Yeah.
but when this person was a Christian, a conservative Christian, they were
Yeah.
they were thinking about poisoning their family. Poison.
What?
She was thinking about poisoning her family to do away with to avoid the tribulation. And
Okay.
so there's some people that you see issues like that. It's like, whether they're New Ager or Christian, they end up in some of the same issues of control and avoidance and
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but if it's like, okay, it's like, I'll have my corner to do my ritual. You have your corner to do your thing. If you're going to do
Yeah.
something,
That's probably best that way most of the
and
times.
honestly, I believe if I have a wife, even if all I have is like a space under the bed or something, that's hers or whatever. I believe in
Yeah.
having some space to oneself, and particularly the husband gives the wife some of her own space.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
that's what I don't. One thing I hate with relationships, or everybody has different associations with different things, and one thing that ticks me off with relationships, especially, I think I'm gonna do a video on this very soon, but it's the romanticized. I think that the era of romanticism really destroyed the idea of relationships, because this whole romanticism idea of how a relationship should look, which the Western world has adopted very much. This is what I think is taking me off with relationships, because all these expectations that this is how a relationship should look like, this is how the perfect relationship should be, and that pretty much destroys the individuality approach to the relationship and puts a lot of unnecessary expectations and problems on top of it. So what do you think about this?
well, the whole Joseph Campbell talked about the whole chivalry, ridiculous extremism there. That
Joseph Campbell, all right.
But you're all diving in the mud for some woman's handkerchief and all that stuff. You can or it's like, you have some women will try to do this and get you to do. It's like, okay, there's some stuff. It's like, it doesn't mean very much, or it seems silly or whatnot. You do this to please a woman or whatnot, but you don't want to get too chivalrous because it's like you're having to run around. It's like I can't open. I'm sitting right here. I could open my door and get out, but I'm going to get. That's why.
Yeah. Like for example, one problem I had with a relationship, maybe you can relate to this, is, you know, I've had like 3 relationships, all of them last for like 2-3 weeks. Then they end, you know, and you know, I can handle people for a couple of weeks, but then I get tired of them. And but this particular woman I was with, she had a very peculiar and very, you know, normal way of, you know, girls often test you, you know, they test you to see if your love to them is real. And the Western model for seeing if your love for them is real, based on romanticism, is, okay, how do you hug them on demand? Do you kiss them on demand? Or do you kiss them or hug them whenever you feel like doing it? And it's pretty much this Christian idea that you need to sacrifice yourself. And the more you sacrifice yourself for the other person, the more you love them. This is not love. To sacrifice.
The self-defeating thing. Now,
yeah. Tell me about that,
please. If you you know, there was a woman that if I lived in her area, I think me and her would have really got together. But because that's one of the things nowadays. It's like society is breaking down to the point, and it's like, and then you find somebody, it's like, but they're not even they're not local, and they live like 2,000 miles away or something. And but so this woman, let's call her, what did I call her? I called her, I think I called her the Princess of Wands. So I called her.
Very fitting name for a Western girl, princess. They all want to be treated like princesses.
Well, okay. There's always a princess is not a queen. Let's.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
But you know, in tarot names, but yeah.
That's a good one.
But princess always implies something. And sometimes it's like, sometimes it's like the perfect. But sometimes it's not. It always implies there's a further step. But let's be honest, the Buddhists got it right. The Buddhists and the Muslims got it right when they said, how far you've got, there's always the rest of your life that you got to do stuff. So, you know, there's always.
Oh, repeat that one more time. I didn't hear. I was trying to change position here.
No matter how far you've gotten in life, no matter what peak experience, you always have the rest of your life to keep on, you know, doing your thing. It's like, you know, I said Muhammad. What happened with Muhammad? His peak experience happened.
Yeah.
And he lived like several more years. So he still had to keep on. He still kept on doing his thing after that experience.
Oh,
Well, the Sufi, was it Bastami that said Bastami had like a vision that he thought wasn't even possible to have, and he decided that that's it. I'm giving up. I'm not even meditating anymore. I'm not meditating, not praying, nothing. I'm kind of, you know, I'm so great. I've finished. I think it's Bastami that was the point. It's like, no, dude. That experience was supposed to enhance maybe the rest of your life, and you didn't let it do that. You basically gave up on yourself. That you had just imagine, 20 years ago today. Did I tell you that? That's 20 years ago today. It's sort of.
Yeah.
I was there. I mean, I didn't have what I was. What is new, but I still have the book. Not that I mean, I read it now, but I was praying out of the book, and I had this experience. Experience. Afterwards, I'm like, okay, it's the experience that got me. That alone got me out of Christianity forever, because it's the first time in my life I believe. I believed I had a soul, or was a soul, however you want to phrase that. But this is the moment. This is the moment where I knew it. I knew I was that bit, and it was like I had emotions, I had thoughts, I had a willpower, I had all that stuff, but it was a vehicle. It was all a vehicle, and I was this spiritual being operating this stuff, and it was like,
wow,
and
wow,
I also in that moment knew I'm
yeah,
responsible for myself. No one's going to do my hero deeds. Calling somebody a spiritual master, maybe there are spiritual masters that I should accept as spiritual master, but they don't do it for me. I got to do it for me.
yeah,
All my beliefs, all my deeds. That's where I'm gonna do it. So that was my thing. I mean, not that I'm stubborn or just stubborn to be stubborn or something. I just
yeah,
can't go
yeah,
back on the thing. Once you realize yourself as a soul and this body is something you operate, one, you take care of this mind, this body to do the job that you're here
yeah.
to do, and
That
two,
makes sense.
and
Yeah,
two, you're
yeah,
um, yeah, you're since you're the operator, you got to just be responsible for it. You can't just you just can't claim somebody else's. Oh, this person had good beliefs. This person had good actions. I'm going to just claim him for no, no, no.
yeah, yeah.
And
Wow.
Crowley, people say Crowley. No,
Yeah,
I wasn't doing one of his rituals, and some of his rituals I would never do.
Mr. Crowley. Yeah,
Put in your head.
yeah.
Um,
You knew the song. Oh shit. I bet you didn't know the song. Well, I didn't know the song actually. I just heard. I just knew the Mr. Crowley, and who was the one did that song? It was it Ozzy Osbourne or?
yeah, it was a Black Sabbath thing.
Yeah, it was Ozzy. Okay, all right.
But
Yeah.
but that's one thing that's not as apparent. I have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I may have 30. I may have 30 or so albums worth of music up in my head. Anything from Disney
Okay.
songs to Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and rap.
Oh shit,
I
you
have
do?
rap and I have a bunch of stuff up there.
Oh wow, that's cool.
But which
Yeah.
so if any of my hundreds or thousands of poems, maybe I'm up to thousands of poems. Not all of them are shared on my channel, but
Okay. Yeah.
uh, sometimes I'll share like 30
Oh,
poems.
you shared those kind of poems.
All of my poems are, I
Musically inspired, or?
I explain things, I share my experience, but some of my style comes from the music
Wow.
that I've listened to.
It does?
I may
What?
implement something from the Doors or something like that I've
That's
altered.
so
It's
cool.
like
Oh shit.
this sort of lyric, and I turn it into I change the
Yeah.
words and keep sort of the.
How the fuck is it 20% battery? I just fucking charged the phone for like 5 hours. And as soon as I went into comfortable position, it says 20%. Man, I fucking hate these phones. Shit. What's the time now, by the way?
Oh, it's 3:01 here, so we've been on for a while. Is there? Okay,
Oh shit!
processing
It's
spiritual leadership. It's probably late. What you're several hours different than me or something? No.
yeah, it's very late here in Sweden, but I mean, we could do this tomorrow if you want to continue, or.
Yeah. Well, okay. Two things. I think we've mentioned everything in the book.
Yeah, we can finish it. We can finish this video.
Think deep and different types of truth and your own figuring out your own truth and yeah. Okay, I got into that. So maybe figure out something something different tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
But
and I get my energy back when I'm sleeping. I haven't slept very well today, and so.
or another time. So you have my link.
Yeah, we